Indianapolis, racing is synonymous with breathing, but it's not just the big track that will take your breath away. O'Reilly Raceway Park is the Brickyard's little brother, younger and meaner, and all of the major players come with something. Travis Kvapil, momentum. Ron Hornaday has the experience. Last year's ORP trophy belongs to Rick Crawford. And Mike Skinner has the lead. You have a front row seat. The Truck Series big dogs are ready to bite. Located just over 6 miles from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, O'Reilly Raceway Park has a history and tradition all its own. The Little Giant, although a little bit wet, is ready for another big night, and so are we. It's a special birthday edition of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series setup, only on speed. That's right, you have been invited to our birthday party. I'm Chris Devoda, and the setup, the exclusive pre-race show for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, is celebrating its very first birthday. Now, Mother Nature unfortunately did not bring a very nice present to our party. It's been raining all day. Happy hour was rain shortened and qualifying was canceled altogether. But the show and our party will go on. Helping us host the party from pit road, our regular cast of characters, Ray Dunlap and Adam Alexander. Guys, I know you have all of this week's big news. Ray, let's start with you.
Well, Krista, you know, the big news over in the Nextel Cup Series garage was the fact that DEI and Ginn Racing executed a merger this week. That will make Dale Earnhardt Incorporated a 4 Nextel Cup team. Now, the big question is, what happens to Regan Smith? And today, he is over here, right in the truck with us. He's got a little bit of laryngitis, but just in the big picture, do you have any idea what's next for you?
Don't have any idea outside of tonight, but got to thank Morgan Dollar. They brought me a great truck here, and those guys have worked their butts off, and I'm looking forward to getting out here when it stops raining.
Okay, well, we hope your voice comes back, and he's got a good truck tonight here at ORP for sure. The big picture, he's going to race tonight, then he's going to head over to the Brickyard and look for another job. Adam?
Another driver who was hopeful entering today, Dennis Setzer. He won this race 2 years ago, was second last season, but a suspension issue in the right front in the final practice earlier today sent him into the outside wall. That means he had to go to a backup truck, and that also means he'll have to start at the tail end tonight. So Dennis Setzer, one of the short track aces of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, having issues in practice earlier this afternoon. And Krista, on a rainy day at the start of the night, Dennis Setzer going to have adversities to overcome.
All right, stay dry out there, guys. We're going to check in with you later in the show. You know, last week was an off weekend for Nextel Cup and the Truck Series. To kind of put things in perspective, Jimmy Johnson went to Europe. Rick Allen went to his high school reunion. Phil Parsons raced at a dirt track. I'm not sure what Adam and Ray were doing. I was at a tractor show. That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? Of course, the last time we saw you guys, we were at Kentucky. It was a stand-alone event, and one of our drivers was truly standing alone.
Take us long to get this thing 3 and maybe 4 wide.
Gone, coming on the high side. Skinner on the low side. 3 wide as they go across the start-finish line. Skinner now leads this race. Again, checking out on this field, Mike Skinner. What a dominant performance he's already starting here at Kentucky.
We've seen him haul the mail before, but wow, he is dropping away from these guys. Got a spinning form.
Ouch. Dennis Setzer gets sideways.
Oh, they got together.
Could Mike Skinner just run away with this one?
Well, we hope not. Oh, got a spin in turn 3. A spin off turn 2.
Into the wall.
Hard contact. Eric Darnell.
Skinner started this season off with a blaze, finishing 4th at Daytona, then 3 wins in a row. Looking to add to his win career number, Mike Skinner will win at Kentucky.
And taking a look at our forward-point standings with the win, Mike Skinner stretches his lead over Ron Hornaday. But here is where things get interesting. You see Travis Kvapil's name highlighted there in yellow. Well, he was tied with Todd Bodine for 3rd. But then he had a penalty, a parts violation following Kentucky dropped him to 4th. It was 25 driver points, 25 owner points, and a $10,000 fine for that team. Rick Crawford has a slim lead over Johnny Benson. Lots of familiar names. You see Jack Sprague, Ted Musgrave, Matt Crafton, and Dennis Setzer. They are this week's Ford Top 10. Well, did you know that per square mile, Indiana has more interstate highways than any other state? That's earned it the nickname the Crossroads of America. Tonight, the only crossroad that matters, the corner of Highway 136 and Raceway Road. And one driver tonight is going to intersect at Victory Lane. Who will it be? We will find out coming up. But first, we have a very special guest, the sheriff. Wayne Otten, our series director, is going to stop by to talk about the state of NASCAR, the state of the Truck Series. We're just getting started. More of our birthday edition of the setup is straight ahead.
Coming up in the Truck Series setup, former Busch Series champion David Green fills us in about his return to the Craftsman Truck Series in a Red Horse racing truck.
My biggest fear was that hopefully I could deliver and I could adapt to a truck just like that and not let these guys down.
With the summer heating up, we sit down and chat with a few of the 2007 Rookie of the Year contenders. Then it's short track racing at ORP. All next, only on the setup.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series setup is brought to you by Toyota, moving forward.
It's not an easy win to get. Only Mike Skinner and Jack Sprague have done it twice at ORP. Welcome back to a wet and soggy O'Reilly Raceway Park. We're hoping to get some truck racing in tonight, and we need to because it's our one-year birthday of the setup, and because it's our birthday, we brought in a very special guest, our series director, Wayne Otten, as we said, kind of the sheriff of this whole garage area. And Wayne, thanks for coming by. We wanted, since we have you, let's get some insider's perspective. So many great things going on with the Truck Series, but the big talk, everyone wants to know what's going to happen with the schedule next year. Let's hit it hard right away.
Okay, well, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series consists of 25 races, and it's real good for the budget of the owners. They do a great job of setting their teams up with their travel and everything, and it's just great. The schedule works in with what they can afford to race, and it's nice to have a couple weekends off during the year also.
As he says with a smile, yeah, especially weather like this. So it sounds like, even though I know a lot of tracks would love to have a truck race, but 25 is kind of that magic number right now. 25 is the number that we're really looking like real strong. We've been that way for about 4 or 5 years now, and the owners really do like being that way. The drivers like it. They get to spend plenty of time with their family. Most of our drivers have young kids at home, and older kids that also race. So they get a chance to go watch them at the local racetracks. All right, and of course the big news this week, regardless of all the series, was the Bristol test, the new surface at Bristol. Our truck guys, the very first ones to test it out. What was the feedback? The feedback from Bristol was the racetrack done an excellent job. Brendan Gone, Ron Hornaday, Ryan Matthews got up in the second lane. So it's very, very interesting that the teams went in there. We ran 4,438 laps of testing on Monday, and the teams were very positive about the changes that were on the racetrack. It's definitely different than what it was before, but it's also got the same characteristics. Oh, we can't wait. That truck race, of course, coming up in August, but the focus tonight is this race. We hope to get it in. This will be the 13th race here, and that means over a dozen great finishes and storylines. In fact, do you remember 1998, Wayne? I think everybody remembers 1998. Okay, just in case you don't, let's give you a little recap, and keep your eye on the driver's gloves.
Well, that was a look at the white glove incident right here at IRP. And, you know, over the years, there have been some really great battles between Jack Sprague and Ron Hornaday. What do you remember about that night?
I remember that the fans were peeling the fence down out of the stands to come and kill me. And nobody will believe me, but that was not on purpose. And if it was, I would tell you, especially this far along afterwards. But, you know, Ron and I are great friends, and that was just a really bad deal. It was a bum deal for him, obviously. But, you know, we got a pretty good truck here. The Conway Freight Tow is pretty good in practice. You know, there's several other good trucks, too, obviously. I mean, I think we were fifth in the first practice, and we were third in the second practice. Everybody started qualifying runs. We never did one. But trucks turning pretty good in the middle, and you have to do that here. That is the key ingredient, is you have to turn good in the middle and do whatever you can do to get off the corner. And this place just keeps getting slipperier. But Wayne says we're going to race tonight. He is our fearless leader of this series, and he's never let me down. But
well, if he says we're going to race, then we're going to race.
I think he might be a little crazy.
Let's hope not.
Nah. Hi, Wayne. I know you're up there. But, no, I think we'll race tonight. I just don't know what time. But hopefully we can and get everybody home so we don't have to be here a couple days.
Well, and hopefully we'll see another one of those great Hornaday Sprague battles like we saw here on the White Glove Night. Adam?
So we've heard from the Sprague side of the story. What about the Hornaday side? It's been almost 10 years, but what do you remember about the 1998 race here at ORP?
What about the weather today? No. They call it the white glove incident. That was pretty cool. I think Sprague changed his gloves after that race. Just racing hard. You know, the top groove up here is the groove you got the preferred line, and Jack had a good run of 3 or 4 laps, and I just drove him hard, and he got loose getting in there, and that's what he got loose. And cool. Started.
All right, yeah, some technical problems there with the audio, but we want to thank Adam and Ron Hornaday for that interview. And still here with Wayne Otten. So first, let's address the fact that Jack Sprague called you crazy. Well, I guess maybe we'll get to that in a little bit, but Hornaday did kind of explain what the white glove incident was. You could see the driver's gloves, and now none of the drivers wear white gloves anymore because of that.
I believe Jack Sprague set a precedent that night that nobody wants to wear the white gloves anymore because of the camera shot that was there. But you know, that's just 2 of the most fiercest competitors that's ever ran the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
So now let's address the fact Jack Sprague called you crazy. Are we going to race tonight?
We're going to race tonight. We got confidence. Everybody out there watching Speed Channel, hang around because we are going to race tonight.
That's right. And when we do, of course, you will see it right here on Speedway. And stick around because from old races to new names, it's time to talk about our rookies. You see, when Aaron Fike lost his ride, the battle for the Rookie of the Year was cracked wide open. Now it's down to a handful of guys who've gotten here from very different places.
Okay, so here we are past the halfway point in the Craftsman Truck Series season. Many eyes are focused on Mike Skinner and his surging points lead, but one race has tightened up. With the recent suspension of driver Aaron Fike, the fight for Rookie of the Year is a wide-open scramble.
I've been racing full-time for 10 years, and the Truck Series, you got to get after it. You got to be pretty aggressive, a lot more so than I originally anticipated.
Last December, I was reading gas meters in the rough part of Nashville. There's just so many connections you have to get to this level. Everything has got to line up perfect.
I've been Rookie of the Year in every series I've been in so far. From where I started, where I came, I'm very fortunate to get an opportunity like this.
I like to wait, see how things turn out. If you apply some pressure, I like to wait and see how things turn out. If you apply some pressure.
Capturing Truck Series Rookie of the Year places you in elite company. Of the 11 previous winners, 7 have graduated to NASCAR's highest level. In over 700 Cup Series starts, the group has amassed 31 wins and 1 Nextel Cup championship. Now, 12 races remain on the Truck Series calendar, and the pressure is obviously on.
We've had several top 10 runs and blown an engine or get out of pit sequence. We've got the team, just need that luck.
We're coming on pretty good. I think we'll be, something to reckon with in the second half of the season.
I'm just happy to be able to do what I love to do, and just about anybody would give anything to be able to do that.
And it really is a battle for a bestest rookie champ. Tim Sauter is leading, but look at how tight the view is behind him. Willie Allen 5 back. Blake Borland needs just 8 points to catch Allen. And as we continue to try to dry out here, we want to thank Wayne Otten, our series director, for coming by. And again, you said for all the fans at home, this race is going to happen.
We're definitely going to race tonight. We got all the confidence that it's going to clear up. We're going to get the jets out here shortly and start getting some noise made here and get all the fans to hang around for Speed Channel, because the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will be racing here at O'Reilly.
Very nice. He does it like a professional. Thanks for joining us, Wayne. And of course, we have a lot more of the setup, our birthday edition. Don't go away. Things are drying out here. In fact, I feel a little sunshine. So you never know. Things are clearing up, and we've got a lot more to talk about here on Speed.
You gotta like the job that Rick Crawford just did on that restart. He put those guys away. There wasn't anybody gonna get near him as they shot down into turn one.
Rick Crawford looking for his 5th win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Crawford will win in Indiana.
Here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, and yes, that is clear skies you see peeking through. Heading over turn 3, clear skies are prevailing. Maybe Wayne Otten, our series director, was right. We are going to get this race in tonight. If we have anything to say about it, it is going to happen. You saw Rick Crawford there winning this race last year. He has a lot of reasons to feel good. Not only is he the defending winner, his sponsor is the sponsor of the race, the Power Stroke Diesel 200. And feeling good, unfortunately, is something that Rick Crawford hasn't been able to do lately.
Crawford trying to battle for a championship, currently 5th in the points. Sideways, Crawford into the wall. A lot of damage to that 14 truck.
Oh, we got a spinning 4.
Bad luck continuing for the number 14 team. Rick Crawford getting into the wall.
And that truck's damaged. Bad.
Well, we're about to get Rick Crawford here as he is coming across the grass, and we want to find out if you're going to be good enough tonight to get another win here at ORP.
I think we can. We had a great truck off the trailer for practice for 2 hours we were given today, and I think we were 6th or 7th in each one. But I told Kevin Cowboy Starling there toward the end of the practice, I said, look, you know, we probably could run 5th to 10th tonight pretty easy. We were running very consistent times there and pretty fast. But this truck, we need to win tonight.
That's not good enough.
No, it's not good enough for us and not good enough for him or this team or Ford Power Stroke Diesel by International. And in order for us to go out there and make some bold moves tonight, he made some major changes on it right before qualifying, and we'll get a chance to see it when they drop the green.
All right, go get him. That is Rick Crawford, and Krista, he is very, very good when it comes to ORP.
All right, thanks, Ray. And speaking of going and getting them, Ray had to basically sprint across the infield to catch Rick Crawford. Of course, you saw Rick Crawford throw his umbrella down, because we're not going to need it. Things are definitely clearing up. You know, we want to get to another truck, though. It's been over a decade, 1996, since David Green was in a truck at this track. At our last race in Kentucky, David Green returned to the series, taking over the #1 Red Horse Racing Toyota. But as you're about to find out, he has not been gone from the sport entirely.
NASCAR is an inside sport. For those on the outside, it can be hard to get back in. But David Green has always found a way to stay connected.
Every young driver that comes in the series has the ability, has the talent. It's just a matter of me sharing where there might be a speed bump or a dip in the road or a fork in the road. If I can lend my 2 cents worth in on that little bump, that makes me feel good. And you know, the problem here is it shoots you down in there so much, you know, if you don't watch it. I was hoping one day I could use the things that I saw with David Yellowland. In the safest spots on top anyway. And with Brian, and put that to good use behind the wheel, fighting for a checkered flag.
1 week prior to the Kentucky race, Aaron Fike was suspended from NASCAR, leaving a seat open at Red Horse Racing.
I think that all of us, including myself, there was shock. You know, there was disbelief, there was sadness. But I think when I walked in the shop, it was business as usual, and I think from an outsider, this was a squeaky clean operation. Small but crystal clear, sparkling clean. Not only on the way the RFMS sponsored trucks that we have here looked on the racetrack, but the way the team carried theirself.
Top 10 on 3, guys. 1, 2, 3.
Top 10! Everybody was upbeat. They just came off their best finish of the year, 5th at Memphis.
I think that #1 of Aaron Fike has been the surprise of this season.
My biggest fear was that hopefully I could deliver and I could adapt to a truck just like that. I'm afraid if we don't put a half over here, We end up having nothing over here.
You'll have a quarter.
We were fast forwarding, getting the seat situated, and getting comfortable in the truck.
Try not to flex, you know what I mean? That'll keep you back where it's...
You know, the first time I actually fired the thing up and put it in gear was rolling out of the garage area at Kentucky. So I really felt like a true rookie, and the truth of the matter is, it is a different kind of race. It's almost like to the audience if they put the Kentucky Busch race in their VCR and you push fast forward. You better be on kill.
David Green on the inside. He's trying to hang on.
Are the drivers more fierce or hungrier than Busch Series drivers? Maybe not, but as soon as I say that, you have Skinner and Hornaday and Sprague. You have some of the very best in short track racing. I got to start eating my cornflakes now.
David Green riding the momentum of that great run at Kentucky. A 5th place finish there. 12 Busch Series starts here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. How can you draw on that experience here this evening?
Well, Adam, I think all the concepts work here in the Truck Series, Craftsman Truck Series, like the NASCAR Busch Series cars did here. You got to roll the center very good and do it freely, that you don't make yourself loose on exits. So we kind of fought some of those issues today with our Red Horse RFMS Toyota, but you know, Jamie and the guys threw the magic wand at it, and I'm excited to get started here tonight. It's been a long time since I've been in the Truck Series truck here at ORP, so excited about our Toyota tonight, and hopefully we can put on a good show for the fans.
David's best ever run in the Busch Series here, a 2nd back in 1993. He rolls 8th tonight. Krista?
All right, thanks, Adam. And hey, yeah, some more trivia for you. He actually holds the track record in the Busch Series at this track. He said that way back in 1994. And it still stands today. Well, don't go away, because the drivers are getting ready. In fact, as we told you, the skies are clearing. They're starting to dry things off. The covers have gone off the trucks behind me, and Johnny Benson is getting some pre-race nourishment. Hey, you don't see that in the Nextel Cup Series. Johnny Benson taking a pit stop at the hot dog stand. Don't go away. The real party is just getting started. Based on what we've seen in the past in this series, it's going to be full of fire tonight at ORP.
In 2 weeks, the Truck Series takes on the concrete turns in the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. Last year, it was Todd Bodine and Mike Skinner battling on the last lap, but it was Johnny Benson's Toyota that ended up in victory lane. With astounding finishes, this is one race you won't want to miss. Catch all the Truck Series action, starting with the setup at 6 p.m., followed by the green flag, only on Speed.
Next up for the Craftsman Truck Series, Nashville, Tennessee. That will be in 2 weeks. The setup begins at 6. We will get you ready for concrete racing. Now that is solid. Now, in my defense, that was the first and only bad joke I've told tonight. I mean, we're in Indiana. After all, I could have asked the guys, Hoosier pick to win. But I didn't. I restrained myself. Regardless of who wins tonight, we know it's going to be a great race. One of the drivers summed it up, saying at this track, you don't even see everything. You feel it, you smell it, you breathe it. And guess what? The covers are off the trucks. Rick Allen and Phil Parsons are feverishly taking their notes in the snack shack. The Power Stroke Diesel 200 from ORP is right around the turn. You will see it next on Speed.
skies are clearing over O'Reilly Raceway Park, and the jet dryers are fired up. They are getting this .686 mile racing surface ready for the 14th race of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Power Stroke Diesel 200, presented by Ford and International. Hello everyone, I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. Now, obviously we're going short track racing, but right now a little bit of a wet track. What does that do for these drivers who have really not, I guess, had enough time on the track today?
Well, they were only missed about 15, 20 minutes of practice, but they did miss qualifying, which that really doesn't bother a lot of the guys starting up front. But a lot of the guys that had good trucks in practice, like Kenny Schrader and Mike Bliss and Eric Darnell and Brendan Gaughan, are starting way back in the teens. And history has proven that you have to start up front here at this racetrack. Nobody has ever won this race from farther back than fifth.
And you know what has to happen, Phil? If you're going to come from further back than fifth to win, you're going to have to pull some strategy. You might have to pit when the other guys don't pit. You want to mix it up a little bit. But usually when I cruise the garage area and ask who's good, you hear the same cast of characters. You know, Skinner, Benson. But to a man, a lot of people think the number 88 truck of Matt Crafton could be a guy that could win his first race tonight here at ORP.
And we have a different line around this racetrack. It seems like at a short track or a lot of tracks, you try to run on the bottom of the track. But up here, we're seeing a lot of guys running near the wall.
Well, that's the line. And we heard Ryan Matthews talk earlier in our show for qualifying. He said, I've got my truck working down low. I think I'm going to take advantage. Nobody's ever been able to do that. You know, when you go down low, there's somebody on your outside. You don't get to exit the corner like you want to. It doesn't work.
Everybody tries it. Everybody works on their track on their truck on the bottom of the racetrack, and no one is able to do it. It's fine. You can do it by yourself. But when there's another truck on the outside of you, you don't have that whole racetrack to take your truck out to the outside wall, and you can't pass anybody.
Well, the first time I ever came here, I could not believe they expected you to race on this track because, you know, you come off the corner and the car is taller than the wall coming off turn two. I kept on thinking I'm going out of here. I'm sure of it. And you see so much intense action, like the white glove accident we heard about in the setup. There's also great finishes, like when Chad Chaffin made a 3-wide pass on the last lap to win a couple years ago. I love this racetrack.
And you've got a little experience here. Won the pole back in 1983.
I did. Held the track record for a few years, and Michael's won here at ORP.
So a lot of experience on this racetrack?
Yeah, I won the Busch race here. And back in the day, this was one of the most important short track races in America. I mean, everybody wanted to win what was then IRP on Friday night during the summertime when the Cup guys were all off. I had to beat Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin to win that race that night. And I thought that that was probably one of the biggest wins to that point I would ever have or get.
Well, let's go down track side. I believe Ray Dunlap's down in the garage area.
Well, Rick, and down here right now, what's happening is all the crew chiefs are able to make what we call final adjustments. Now, right here is the crew chief's very best friend, the wedge wrench. See, what they'll do is they'll come over and they'll put this wrench in right here, and they can add or subtract a round of wedge on all 4 corners. You can raise or lower the track bar. And then they can come up to the front here, and if they want, they can actually take some tape off or add tape, but that's the only adjustments that they can do. See, each and every race for the Craftsman Truck Series is an impound event, so once qualifying is over, you get ready to go right to the racetrack. We didn't have qualifying today, but everybody had their truck set up ready to go qualify. So these guys are making their final adjustments and ready to go racing. Adam?
And Ray, you speak about qualifying. Some guys wanted to qualify because their trucks were so good in practice they felt like they could really get a good starting spot for tonight. Other guys didn't want to qualify because they were so high in the point standings they knew they would have a good starting spot. Well, one of the guys that would have loved to go out and qualify, this guy, Mike Bliss, was fast in both practice sessions earlier today, but because we go to the rule book and start on points, you roll off 18th. You really wanted to go qualifying, didn't you, Mike?
Yeah, we had a real good truck right off the trailer. The open joist Dodge was top of the board there first practice, and second practice about 4th or 5th. So it was it's been real good.
You've always been good at this racetrack. What's the key to success coming from 18th tonight?
Well, that's a tough deal there. We're going to have maybe some pit strategy or something to get up through traffic, because traffic is real hard to get through here. But I mean, when I started racing, this place taught me a lot about momentum, and that's the biggest key here, is trying to keep your momentum up and trying to concentrate on if the truck is really tight or loose on entry, because you'll kill your momentum by doing that. So, you know, you got to have a good truck. You got to have something that turns, but you can't have something that's too loose up off to get good forward bite. So, I mean, it's like all the other racetracks. You know, 4 tires not sliding is better than anything, but the corners here are a lot longer than any other corners that we run on.
And tonight marks Mike's fourth start, easy for me to say, in the 4 truck. And every time he's been in it, guys, he's finished in the top 10.
And normally we would see all of the drivers already in their driver suit, but again, as the track is being dried, the drivers resting a little bit. Take a look at the truck of tomorrow right here. Ford has been commissioned to help out the military, and this would be one of the new vehicles that the military will be using at battle. I believe it's taking over for the Hummer that was in that position or that role. This one taking over for that.
We'll call it Tom.
The truck of Morrow? How about Todd?
I'm from Kentucky, and I never could. My spelling was never what I hoped. But I know that's a bad truck, and that's a bad race car driver, and we're going to see a great race. So hang with us here on Speed. We'll be here till they start.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is presented by Ford F-Series. Built for bold moves, built for tough. Brought to you in part by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Nobody beats Aaron's, nobody.
Well, as quickly as the covers came off the trucks and the umbrellas went away, they came right back out as the sprinkles have come back to O'Reilly Raceway Park. But the fans are going to stick it out, and we hope you do too. Obviously, as Michael had mentioned, when the race starts, you'll see it right here on Speed. We'll also see the finish, right?
Yeah, I predict we'll be here when it ends, too. I did.
You'll see whatever that is.
I sent it to break during that last segment, and he's counting in my ear, and I got all this stuff I want to say, and
it's very confusing.
I'm trying to add it up, and it's just not working for me. Ray, you ever have those issues? Or no?
I think right now. Ray might be having that issue now.
Well, we just put our umbrella back up down here. We were going to try to get with Johnny Benson. He's over here on the side, so if we can step over this direction. Yo, JB. Johnny, let me interrupt you for just a second here. We were wondering how your hot dog was.
I had hamburger.
Hamburger?
But it was pretty good. So track food's always good, you know that. And yeah, just got to pass the time. I figured it'd probably be race here in a couple hours, so I thought I'd get dinner in.
Tell me about the evening here. We got kind of excited there for a few seconds. We started taking the covers off. They started making final adjustments, and now just a little bit more rain.
Yeah, but it's going to go away. I mean, we hope it gets in tonight. I mean, the alternative is we'll just wait a little later. So
I'm all for that.
We're all for that. I got a race tomorrow in Sandusky, so we're trying to get this in. But I think as time goes, I think we'll get it in. It's just a matter of how long we're going to wait.
Running supermods?
Yeah, I got to go down there and run Sandusky or Brad Lickey's car and go have some fun.
That'll be a good time, and hopefully we'll get to see him race tonight, and then he gets to race at Sandusky. Adam?
And Ray, it's a hot dog that's a winning tradition for Johnny Benson, for Todd Bodine, the pretzel with mustard. I don't know if that does anything for the onion or not on the racetrack. You guys okay in practice earlier today, but the good news is you start third. You got to be pleased with that.
Yeah, we were joking earlier. That's definitely better than we would have qualified, so we're happy with that. But our Lumber Liquidators Tundra was not really good in practice. Right at the end of practice, we found something we think, but practice was over. That's typical. But we found something. We think we're going to be better. Hopefully we will be. Have something racing with it tonight.
And, you know, you guys came from 29th to 7th here. So despite the fact you don't have unbelievable stats on short tracks, this is a place where you've got a proven record.
Well, that's what, you know, our stats aren't that good on short tracks for sure. But our performance has been a lot better than our stats show. We've had a lot of bad luck. And, you know, we have had some bad runs, you know, obviously. But we have been picking our performance up on short tracks, and hopefully tonight we can be even better.
Go back to eating the pretzel, okay? Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Adam. There's David Green, busily awaiting the start of this race here. It's going to be pushed back a little bit. There's Jack Sprague, a two-time winner here with his daughter under the umbrella. We're going to go to break, and we're going to be back and show the start of this race. We're going to show the finish. We're going to show all the racing in between right here at O'Reilly Raceway Park on Speed.
The Brickyard 400 is one of NASCAR's definitive races, and for the biggest pre-race coverage in the business, there's only one place to turn. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Coverage begins Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, only on Speed.
Check out the fans here. They're using a little shelter there. One of the camera stands.
Look, that pan right.
Left.
My right.
Wave.
There we are.
That's us over in that little shack. Krista called it the snack shack. I think we ought to call it at least a booth.
We're going to go next door and get us something from that snack shack.
Adam, who have you caught up with?
How about Travis Quapple, a guy who's always good at O'Reilly Raceway Park? 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd in 4 starts here. And if you add it up, that's an average finish of 3.5. And you got a good starting spot here tonight. And you said the truck's pretty dang good as well.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm kind of disappointed we have to start 4th. You know, I think we would have had a shot at the pole. And the thing I'm probably disappointed the most about is I'm going to have to pass that 5 truck that's in front of me if we want to gain any points on these guys. And I don't know. I'm really happy with my K&N Ford team. You know, we did a good job all day yesterday, bringing this, you know, getting ready and coming here. And they did a great job today, you know, making the right adjustments in practice. And just excited to be here. It's a place I've got a good track record at. Team's just got a lot of momentum here lately, and hopefully we can beat that 5 and gain some points on him. That's the big goal.
Has it been a helpless feeling? He's running so good. Even though you run good, you're not gaining any points, and many times losing points to him.
Well, that's the thing. You know, we won a couple races, and we might gain 5 or 10 points in the event. And then last week, you know, we run 2nd, and he kicked our tail, leading all the laps and everything. So, it is disappointing. But I guess all we can do is just you know, concentrate on the next event. And we got fast trucks, and the team's doing a great job. And hopefully somewhere along the line he'll falter, you know, and we can be there to capitalize on it. But if we just keep running up front, winning races, you know, I guess the points would take care of themselves. But when Mike's running top 5 every week, it's going to be tough.
Talking about Mike Skinner in the 5, of course, he is the points leader. Travis Quapple starting 4th tonight. Going to try and chase him down. Ray?
Well, Adam, John Wood returned to the series at Kentucky and had a great run there. But I want to know what you got going here. Do you have a softball game today, or are you expecting trouble out there on the racetrack tonight?
I'm going to need this ball bat tonight one way or another. I'm sure you know how our ORP is. But no, we do have a really good truck, and Kentucky went well. It's good to be back racing again, and you know, my guys are doing an awesome job. It's fun to drive a Ford, another Ford-sponsored event, so it should be exciting.
Tell me about the strategy tonight. We've been talking to a lot of guys who said this may be a one-stop race, and then other guys tell me that the tires fell off and you're going to need a couple of pit stops.
Well, my first strategy is my ball bat, and then besides
protection, right?
Right. No, I mean, you know, the tires hold up very well here. They always have in years past. So you'll see some guys stay out and opt to do a field-only race and maybe one set of tires. But then there'll be guys that put on some with 40 or 30 to go, and there'll be a mixed batch. But all in all, I think that the tires are holding up well.
Okay, be nice to your fellow drivers tonight. He's got his little handy helper there just in case there's trouble tonight here in Indy. Guys?
Thank you, Ray. We're hearing this is called the Max Pro, not the Tom. But they might want to use Tom as maybe a short version.
Truckamaro.
Truckamaro.
Abbreviated. Truckamaro.
Now, you had mentioned earlier you'd like to know what's powering that vehicle.
It's got to be big, you know?
A lot of horsepower under the hood there. Again, a Ford product. We're getting ready for the Power Stroke Diesel 200 at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Welcome back to the Power Stroke Diesel 200 presented by Ford and International. It's O'Reilly Raceway Park, just a little bit to the west of Indianapolis, Indiana. In Clermont, you're seeing the Ford Parade about ready to get started, and leading that will be the Max Pro. Obviously, we joked a little bit about that earlier, but obviously safety is what we are looking for most with our troops, and that vehicle is expected to keep them safe. Bulletproof, they're expecting that thing to be able to pretty much go through bombs and keep our guys safe, and so we're very appreciative of that. That actually is made in Warrenville, Illinois, this vehicle, and the military has ordered over 2,600 of these already. So a very exciting thing for Ford to be taking part in this and also helping out our troops that we definitely need.
Well, you know what I love about Ford and Power Stroke? They get it. They're here sponsoring a race. They're sponsoring a truck. There's hospitality here. They've got this wonderful parade lined up. This is what the truck series needs. It's why sponsors such as Aaron's are involved here sponsoring a truck and giving away the free pass every time you turn around. There's just a bunch of companies that are here with the truck series, been here for a long time, and they get it. And Power Stroke Diesel by Ford and International is one of those companies.
Adam Alexander, who do you got in the garage?
Well, you know, Michael Waltrip was talking earlier about the fact that tonight may be the night that Matt Crafton goes to victory lane, and if practice is any indication, certainly that could be the case here tonight because you have a very good racetrack.
Yes, we do. Our Menards, Johns Manville Chevy is very good on long runs. We never did a qualifying run because we really didn't know what it was going to do. So, and we just worked on long race runs, and we did 15 lap runs at one point, and we were really happy with our truck. So hopefully we'll get this race in tonight and don't have to fish anymore.
5 top 10s and 6 starts at ORP. Crafton rolls 10th here tonight, Ray.
Well, Adam, one thing that's going on down here in the garage area right now is they're beginning to take the trucks off of pit road and they're bringing them back here behind me to line them up because they were set to go in qualifying order. Now they're going to put them in race order right here. The guys are pushing these trucks back here, and what that allows them to do is to dry pit road. So they'll be able to bring the jet dryer down, get pit road dry. It has stopped raining. We've got the umbrellas put back away, about to take off the coats, and we're hoping, as you can see, the skies have cleared up a lot behind us, so in the next couple of hours, we should be racing here at ORP.
Ray, you nailed it. We've got lights, and we can wait, and so we will be watching the start and finish of this race from ORP as soon as it takes place. Welcome back to O'Reilly Raceway Park. The Ford Parade has begun, and so they are making their way around the racetrack. We're going to continue to dry the racetrack here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. As soon as it is dried, obviously the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series lives on speed, and you're going to see every lap that takes place at this short track. We're going to expect a little bumping and banging. What do you guys think?
There's going to be a lot of bumping and banging because this racetrack is so difficult to pass on. We talk about the preferred line being up high, that about the only way to get somebody out of the way a lot of times is to bump them out of the way and get them wiggling a little bit and get them out of the throttle and then take advantage of that. So we saw that earlier with the white glove incident. We're going to see it a lot with all kinds of different color gloves.
There's 2 guys starting 18th and 19th, Bliss and Gahn, both very good in practice. Brendan Gahn would rather run an inch from the wall than anywhere. So you got to think that's going to bode well for his chances tonight. If you've never seen a race at ORP, it's as fun as you can have on a Friday night. So I'm jazzed up, and hopefully we can watch little Dale Jr. You know, he's popular.
That's right. As a matter of fact, we will be watching Back in the Day with Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's coming up while we're waiting for the track to dry.
And you would think he was busy, but he's going to take time out of his busy schedule to show us some Back in the Day.
He is.
And the fans will be going, Junior, hey.
People will yell that quite often.
Yeah.
One guy I think you also need to watch out for tonight is Regan Smith, because Regan Smith posted the fastest time in all of practice earlier today, but he's starting all the way back in 29th. So we'll see if he can work his way up toward the front.
You know, that's what's going to make this race fun. You got some fast trucks in the back. Usually the fast trucks start at the front. Tonight it's going to be different.
We'll be back as soon as anything takes place on the racetrack here at ORP. Welcome back to Clermont, Indiana. We're at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Again, this is the 14th race of the 2007 season, and they're continuing to dry the racetrack. Actually, a little shower passed through the area, a little bit more precipitation on the racetrack, but they're still working on getting it dried. And again, we will be here as soon as the green flag flies. Actually, as soon as any of the on-track activities take place, we'll come right back here. And until that happens, we will let you enjoy some more of Back in the Day with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Again, this is one of those racetracks where the closer to the front you start, the better your odds are. Starting on the pole, Mike Skinner, because of owner points, will start back up front again in 95 and 96. He led every lap. I'm not so sure he's going to be able to accomplish that tonight, but we're going to find out. So make sure to stay tuned to Speed. You'll see all the action from O'Reilly Raceway Park. Welcome back to Clermont, Indiana. A fine mist continues to fall, but the track crew has not given up, and they have not given up this racetrack. They continue to try to dry this surface, and you're seeing a few lighter gray areas on the racetrack, meaning that they are making progress. So, again, as they are fighting the conditions right now, we are continuing to wait out this moisture that continues to fall. Again, we want to thank Premier Pizzeria, actually, who is right next to us in the booth here. They helped us out with a few pizzas earlier while we are waiting out this rain delay, so we want to say thank you to them. And again, a fine job by the track crew.
I didn't have any pizza. I like Domino's. But I had a walking taco, though. That's a pretty good marketing gig there.
It's good food. They've been taking care of us here at Clermont, Indiana in O'Reilly Raceway Park. We'll be back when they make their way onto the racetrack to get this one underway.
Sears.
Welcome back to O'Reilly Raceway Park. The track is almost dry, and NASCAR has called the drivers to their trucks. Well, how have we gotten to this point in this day? It has been a very, very long day here from Clermont, Indiana. Earlier today, track workers, obviously a little bit of moisture in the area. They were making their way around. Ray Dunlap did his Craftsman tools of the trade and then finished it off with a little bit of a tap dance. We had our setup start at 7:30 with Wayne Ott joining us on the set, and then the rains continued. But that didn't slow anyone down, not even Ray Dunlap, as he was able to catch Rick Crawford way out in the middle of the infield. But the rains continued, and so it has slowed us down, but it didn't slow Johnny Benson down. Johnny Benson decided to grab a hamburger. He knew that he wasn't getting started anytime soon. And that made Phil hungry.
Watch this flip. Watch the flip, Rick.
Under the, oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had to go get Michael something to eat. He was hungry. So Jimmy and I went to get Michael something to eat.
Yeah. Watch, I'm over here in the left.
We're in the shed there. I mean, Michael and Rick are in the shed.
In the hut.
In the hut.
We're in the broadcast hut. Yeah, he's checking it out. So anyway, that is how we got to this point. And now the lights are bright. The track is starting to lighten up, and the drivers have been called to their trucks. And so we're about to go back to racing. As soon as the track dries, we will be right back. And so you'll be able to see the finale of Back in the Day with Dale Earnhardt Jr. As that wraps up, we'll come right back here to O'Reilly Raceway Park for the start of the Power Stroke Diesel 200 on Speed.
Hey, ladies.
Welcome back to the O'Reilly Raceway Park. The track is dry, and we're about to begin pre-race ceremonies to kick off the Power Stroke Diesel 200 presented by Ford and International. Again, just to the west of Indianapolis, Indiana. I would call it a suburb in Clermont, Indiana. And we're about to get ready to start the 14th race of the 2007 season. Let's go trackside.
We ask you now to rise as our colors are presented before 200. Our colors are presented tonight by the U.S. Army Recruiting Battalion Metro North Recruiting Company. Jim Lanning from Motor Racing Outreach, a chaplain with Motor Racing Outreach, is going to deliver tonight's invocation.
Let's pray together. Our Father in heaven, we just want to thank you for today. Lord, we know we're grateful for the rain, for those who needed it in this area. And Lord, we're also thankful for the clear weather we can go racing tonight. We're thankful for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the event they're about to have. And God, I would pray your blessing upon it. May this be a real safe race for every competitor. And Father, I thank you for the military that's standing around me tonight. And God, I thank you for our country. And I would ask
command and patience from the crowd. The engines are fired, and we're about ready to go racing. It's been about 2 hours since we thought we'd be on the racetrack, but we're going when we come back from commercial.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is presented by Ford F-Series. Built for bold moves, built Ford tough. Brought to you in part by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Nobody beats Aaron's, nobody.
Track is dry, the rain has stopped. The truck's about to roll out onto the racetrack. Along the bottom of the screen, you will see the starting grid. How they will line up is based upon owner points. And so that means that Mike Skinner had his option of starting either on the inside or outside of the front row. And Michael, I believe you heard him in the driver's meeting say he wanted the outside.
Yeah, and that's probably a smart move. We've talked about how difficult it is to pass on the bottom. He wants to get that good run on the high side down into turn one. But you know who's beside him? Ron Hornaday. He'll check him for tough on this start.
Exactly. Well, we are going to again take a spotlight and shine it on a few different drivers. We're going to start with Ray Dunlap's spotlight on Kenny Hendrick.
Well, I think it's going to be a good night for Kenny Hendrick tonight. He's in the number 16 truck, which is owned by Dave Fuge. And tonight, Kenny Hendrick is making his 23rd start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, but he brings along a brand new sponsor tonight. It's called Interstate Supply, and what they do at Interstate is they rent big, heavy equipment. So if you need to get yourself a bulldozer, go on over to Interstate Supply. They can get you started right up. Adam?
Justin Labonte making his first start of 2007 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, rolling 25th tonight in the 00 truck. It's a one-race deal, and it's interesting. Tonight, Justin driving for Darrell Waltrip. Over the weekend at the Brickyard, it will be Terry Labonte driving for Michael Waltrip. Now, to keep his hand in the business, Justin's been running some dirt tracks, and he hopes tonight will get his career jump-started to come back in NASCAR full-time. Phil?
Adam, I want to take a look at 27-year-old Tim Schindel out of Sparta, Wisconsin. He's going to make his first Truck Series start of the year. He's finished third in a Busch East race earlier this year at Loudon, part of a limited schedule that he is doing in the Busch East Series. He will run a couple ARCA races here coming up in a few weeks at Milwaukee and Chicago. He finished second at Milwaukee last year in an ARCA race, and he's being sponsored by the Matthews Solo Cam Texpar Energy, and he will start his truck in 35th.
35th. Well, my guy's Brett Thompson, and he's starting last, and I gave him some good advice. I told him, I said, Brett, Dennis Setzer's going to come back there with you. When he goes, you just follow him. He's going to be going in a good direction. I know Brett a little bit. I got to talk to him today. He reminded me we raced together in 2001 at the Bull Ring in Las Vegas, and I said, yeah, I remember that race. I wrecked some guy and busted my radiator. He raised his hand. He said, I'm that guy. I said, well, I hope tonight goes better for you than that did.
Trucks now rolling off onto the racetrack, and so they will get in line. Sending out the, looks like the outside line right now.
Well, Ron Hornaday is right behind the pace truck, and he will start actually on the inside of the front row. Rick Wren said right after qualifying was postponed, he said, well, that was some good adjustments I made for qualifying.
We'll ride along with a few different trucks tonight. First one we will ride along with will be Willie Allen. He starts in the 26th position, so we'll see if Willie Allen can make his way up toward the front in that Thor Sport racing truck.
We're also going to ride with Kenny Schrader in the Fastenal Dodge. Kenny doing double duty this week. He's also going to attempt to qualify for the Brickyard 400 tomorrow in the 49 car. Kenny will start in the 17th position.
My guy's David Starr, Phil, and you know, we watched David in practice earlier bounce off the wall a couple of times. He's starting in 13th, so he needs to get that thing lined out, keep it off the wall if he wants to get a good finish. Wasn't a very good practice for David.
We'll ride along with Jack Sprague. He's going to start in the 9th position. Jack Sprague's won twice at this racetrack, back in 1998 and again in 2001. He's one of only 2 people to repeat in victory lane here at this racetrack.
We're also going to ride with Teddy Musgrave in the Team ASE Germain Toyota. Teddy finished 3rd our last time out at the Kentucky Speedway. He will start 7th tonight.
Rick Crawford rolling off in the top 5 in that Power Stroke diesel by International Ford. He won this race a year ago. He's top 5 in the points. It's been sort of a rough run for him in the last couple of weeks, but when you've wanted a track before, and plus he's carrying the sponsor of the race on the side of his truck, there's a lot of inspiration there for him to do well. And again, I just want to thank Power Stroke Diesel by Ford and International, because they get it. They're here to sponsor the race. They're on the truck. They're using the Craftsman Truck Series to promote their products, and that's what this series needs and loves, and I'm real proud that they're a part of it.
Yeah, they've done it for many years. I mean, Terry Cook, they were on board with Terry Cook for quite a few years.
Terry won the race here at IRP back then with Power Stroke Diesel on the truck.
We head back trackside. And we're going to go to Ray Dunlap first before green.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, whenever we talk about Mike Skinner throughout the course of this year, it's been incredible. We already know that. But let's look at some statistics. Coming into the race here at ORP over the last couple of years, look at the numbers for Mike Skinner. Well, when he comes here this year, he's got 4 wins already this season. Prior to that, no wins. But look at the laps led. That is a really impressive part at 789, and Skinner comes in as the points leader at this point of the season for the first time ever. Adam?
Travis Quapple starts 4th here tonight, and in 4 starts at this racetrack, he's done everything but win, finishing 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. Perhaps tonight will be the night, and history says it could be. Of his 7 career wins, 3 have come on short tracks in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and this evening he's running the same truck that he won a few weeks ago with at Memphis. It should be an entertaining night. 2 hours late, but we're set to get rolling in the Power Stroke Diesel 200. Back upstairs are the guys that will call the action. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip. Guys.
Thank you, Adam. That was very nice of him, actually.
That was, yeah. Especially after how I didn't really get credit for being up here earlier today.
Well, you weren't taking notes, probably. Krista said we were taking notes, and she knew you probably weren't, so that's why she said that.
She was probably right.
Only 36 trucks are going to start this race, but right now on the racetrack we have about 41 trucks.
Got a lot of trucks out there.
We have
and a few jet dryers.
2 pace trucks and 3 jet dryers are still on the racetrack right now. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, let me give you a quick update about what they told Mike Skinner. When Skinner chose the outside line to start tonight's race, he is officially not the guy that will be in control of starting this field. Wayne Otten, series director, told Skinner, listen, Ron Hornaday, because he is on the bottom, has the ability to start this race. So be careful. Don't jump the start. But soon as the flag man waves the green, it's everybody's business.
I think that's wrong. I'm not saying that Ray is wrong in saying that's what Wayne Otten said, but I think the guy that starts from the pole, whether he's on the inside or the outside, should be the one in command for the start.
Well, I just learned something. I thought that was the case, that Mike had the chance to break for the corner before Ron did, and so giving up that inside spot, if you can't start first, and when you can't start first, you can't beat the other truck across the start-finish line is what it amounts to.
Exactly.
Once you cross the start-finish line, you can pass him, but you can't come across that start-finish line before him.
You guys have been racing in NASCAR for a long time. Doesn't the green flag actually start the race? I mean, it doesn't. It's not the
green
pole
flag,
sitter.
yes, the green flag starts the race, but the outside pole man can't beat the inside pole man across the start-finish line. Okay. That's the rule. And so now Mike's got to not beat Hornaday across the start-finish line and beat him into turn 1. So he's got his work cut out for him, because we all know what kind of restart guy or start guy Hornaday is.
In the field, working their way around this racetrack, feeling it out. The jet dryers have made their way off of the track. There's still a little bit of commotion on the front stretch down right along the yellow line. The last jet dryers making their way off of the racetrack.
Can he ask for that inside back now?
Yeah, now that he knows the rule, maybe I want the inside back.
Check out that crowd. 2 hours late on a Friday night in Indianapolis. There's thousands of people
not
here.
Only in the grandstand, but right here along the berm in turns 1 and 2.
Right.
And these folks at 10 o'clock this morning sprinted into position to save their spots, put their chairs in, put down their tarps. It was very impressive.
It looked like they were running the bulls in Pamplona, Spain.
That's us.
I saw the way you circled where we are.
That's our plush studios up here in turn 1. And I love the view, Phil.
I do too. I like watching them come down the front stretch right at us in turn 1.
Easy.
As they head off into turn 1, this is where they'll be arguing over space pretty much all night long.
Exactly.
You get down on the inside of somebody, your work's just beginning. The outside line has the preferred line in the turns. Adam?
Well, Rick was talking about the fact it's been a long day for the fans. It's been a long day for these teams as well. This is what NASCAR refers to as a one-day show. You come in, practice, qualify, and race all in the same day. So these guys rolled in here prior to 7 o'clock this morning getting ready for tonight's race. And now the delay. These guys are working on hour 13 if you do the math. And Cowboy Kevin Starlin just reminded his guys, stay focused. This is the crew chief for Rick Crawford. He said it's been a long day, guys. We've seen a lot of curveballs already. We'll see some more before the night is over. And this team extra motivated. As you talked about, Michael, they've got the title sponsor of the race on the side of their truck. And in addition to that, he's the defending race winner. They would love to go out and get a repeat tonight here at ORP.
I'll tell you, I would not put it past him to do just that, too. Historically, you have to start up front here to win the race, and he is starting in that all-important top 5.
But you have to wonder a little bit, Phil. You heard him talking. He said Cowboy changed his truck. His crew chief didn't like the fact that they could comfortably run between 5th and 10th. They wanted to go for it. So that truck's got a different setup under it than he practiced with, so a bit of a question mark there.
The field still separated. There are 2 pace trucks that are leading the 18 trucks each, getting ready to button them up. One of the pace trucks will make his way off of the racetrack, and that will make it 36 trucks all lined up, 18 rows of 2.
We've lost most of the other trucks and a couple of jets.
They're starting way behind. The back half of the field are way behind right now. They're a full straightaway behind, but they will let them close up here before we go green.
These guys have been waiting, Phil. What does that do to a driver's mentality? They've been wanting to race. We're 2 hours past where we're supposed to start. A little more anxious here on the start?
I think so, because, you know, I never would eat on race day at a racetrack, but if we ever got rain delayed, then all of a sudden I was hungry. It just changed my whole inside, everything. So I know these guys are going to be anxious. And, you know, the thing is, we've had so much jet fuel residue put down on the racetrack too, and that has a tendency to make the racetrack slicker. So this racetrack, not only have they rain washed all the rubber off, but now we've got some jet fuel residue on the racetrack, so it could be very, very slick.
Just think about this. 2 of the fastest trucks led 2 practice sessions. Reagan Smith and Mike Bliss are starting back in 27th and 29th spot. So if anybody's anxious, it's got to be those 2. They know they're fast.
Field's all in line. And the Brickyard is one of NASCAR's definitive races, and for the biggest pre-race coverage in the business, there's only one place to turn. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Now, coverage begins Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, only on Speed. Ray Dunlap, what's going on with that front row?
Just want to let you know, when you talk about short track wins, Ron Hornaday has 16, Mike Skinner has 15. Those are the 2 leaders in all-time short track wins in Craftsman Truck Series, and they're on the front row.
And odds are, when you're at ORP, you have a lot better chance of winning this race if you start in the front row.
And one of those guys, I think, will lead this first lap, too.
Yeah.
And that's going to be 5 points.
I wouldn't bet on that. Those 2 get to scrapping a little bit, and watch for Terry Cook or Todd Bodine to jump in there with them.
Randy Kaiser, our pace truck driver, has pulled his pace truck onto pit road. That puts the field into the hands of Ron Hornaday and Mike Skinner as they come out of turn number 4. We're about to get underway. The green flag is in the air. We're racing at ORP.
That was a very, very odd start right there.
Skinner on the outside, Hornaday on the inside. Hornaday pinned on the inside as they work down the backstretch.
This is his best opportunity when his tires are brand new. He's going to have maximum. They're together. Skinner up against the wall.
Side by side coming out of 4. Who leads lap number 1? It is a dead heat across the start-finish line. Mike Skinner will lead by less than 100th of a second.
So you got to figure Skinner's happy with his plan right now. He did lead that first lap, but man, he's got to say, oh, Hornaday gets into him again.
Hornaday drops back, falls in behind him, and now on the inside, Todd Bodine trying to make the move.
Todd's trying to make it work on the inside. Remember, the tires are good. They're as good as they're going to be. Todd's pulled back up to the outside now.
Now single file. It's Skinner, Hornaday, Bodine, Quapple, Benson, your top 5.
Until you've been here, Phil, and driven on this track, you don't know how hard it is to do what Ron Hornaday almost pulled off on that first lap. Pinched down by a fast truck. He almost made it stick, but he finally wound up making contact with Hornaday and falling back to second. There's battles all through this field right now.
Again, this is a 200-lap race. We know for sure they've got to at least stop once.
Yeah. And you can't be patient here. 200 laps, you're going to have to make some time up now, especially those guys that had fast trucks like we've been talking about that were starting way back outside the top 15.
One thing that really impresses me is how hard those drivers started this race, knowing it was a very green race, even with the jet fuel that was blown on it to dry it off.
Well, that just shows you the grit and the determination of those two cats. One of them was being just as hard-headed as the other. You know, they said, I'm leading this first lap, darn it.
Across the start-finish line, it's still Skinner in front of Hornaday. Then Bodine, Quapple, Benson, Crawford, Crafton, Musgrave, Sprague, and David Green, your top 10.
Good side-by-side battle right here. Brendan Gaughan, who had a very, very fast South Point Chevrolet in practice. Terry Cook, a former winner here in the 59 Harris truck. And there goes David Starr, the Max Force Ford on the inside also.
Brendan Gaughan trying to move up. Gaughan started this race in the 19th position, now in 13th. He's gained 6 spots.
Still side by side, David Starr on the inside, Terry Cook on the outside.
Now these guys will start being a little less aggressive now, Phil. We got some laps on their trucks. Handling issues have begun to be a problem, so they're not just going to boldly dive down on the end of on the inside of someone because they don't know if they can stick there or not.
Watch that truck on the inside right there. That's the fastest in all Dodge, Kenny Schrader, one of the very best trucks in practice.
And Michael, you mentioned maybe not as bold. We heard a few crew chiefs talking about the number 40. Like lap number 40, it seemed like the tires just went away a bit, and then they had a plateau where they didn't fall off as much. So that's almost a magic number that we should look for.
Well, but what you have to remember, Rick, is how important track position is. If someone's got a good truck around lap 40, they might not pit at that point. They know that if other trucks get caught back in the field, they won't be able to fight their way up to them and get them very quickly. And when they do get there, then their tires will be gone away a little bit as well.
Track position key here at ORP. Mike Skinner, Ron Hornaday have separated themselves from Todd Bodine, and now Hornaday all over the back bumper of Skinner as the battle continues back behind them as well.
They're running a little bit lower on the racetrack right now than we have seen them in the past. You see Mike Skinner not drifting all the way out to the outside wall and then cutting the truck right in the center of the corner to come off very, very low. Ray, what's going on with that front truck?
Well, just wanted to talk about bonus points real quick, Phil. You know how important they can be in winning a championship, and Mike Skinner has now led all 14 of the races this season. So from Daytona forward, he's led every single race. That has never been done before in Craftsman Truck Series history. And Skinner is aware that it's Hornaday right behind him, and he doesn't want to let him lead a lap anytime throughout the course of the night.
Ray Hornaday just bounced off the wall coming off turn number 2, caught it with the right rear corner.
But he closed in on Skinner and doing so.
Getting
he hit
more
the wall
aggressive.
And caught up a little bit.
Getting more aggressive is Ron Hornaday. That stat that Ray just mentioned, that's 70 bonus points for leading a lap on every race so far. That's 70 bonus points towards his next championship, potentially in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
And that doesn't count the races that he's led the most laps, where he gets an extra 5 bonus points.
Hornaday separated just a bit more now from Skinner, as Michael, you had mentioned him bouncing off the wall. We saw that earlier in practice. David Starr did it a couple times.
Well, and I'm just amazed. These guys sit around, wait for a couple hours to race the track screen. They run side by side for 4 or 5 laps, and nobody's wrecked yet. I would have thought for sure we'd had an accident. Check this out. Look how hard these cats are racing.
There's Ron Hornaday right here. Here he is right here, coming off turn number 2 just a few laps ago. Watch him coming off turn number 2 here. Gets a little bit wide, bounces off that corner wall with the right rear corner.
Some drivers would say they kissed the wall there. I think he had a little bit harder than a kiss. Mike Skinner out in front of the field at ORP. Jeff Hensley looking for another win in 2007. Welcome back to Power Stroke Diesel 200, presented by Ford and International, underway, and the battle for the lead still underway. Skinner and Hornaday trying to decide it early on in this race.
There they are side by side. I'm telling you right now, Ron Hornaday has a better truck, but it's so difficult to pass on this racetrack. Let's see if he can force the issue right now.
I think he's got him, Phil.
He needs to they got it. He got it. Mike Skinner probably said, okay, I've led this race. I've got bonus points. There's no sense racing this hard this early.
plus it's the writing on the wall. You know, he could not shake Ron Hornaday. And Ron's diving down all the way to the bottom of the racetrack and getting up beside Skinner. You might as well just lay over this early in the race and save your truck.
Oh, trouble. The 31 got completely sideways right in front of the 61 of Brett Thompson. That's Tim Schindel in the 31.
Schindel slowing down a bit now as our leader, Ron Hornaday and Mike Skinner, make their way by him. Now they're continuing to work around the slower lap traffic. The 61 of Brett Thompson, putting him a lap down. Those two trucks are staying out in front of the field here.
There's Todd Bodine trying to make it a side-by-side battle for the second position.
Bodine was on the inside of Mike Skinner. Now looks to the inside again as Hornaday continues to move past the slower lap traffic.
That's Brandon Miller in the 40 Curtis Key truck. See side by side again for the second position right there. Todd Bodine on the inside.
Two Toyotas battling for position.
Skinner's tires have gone off, Phil. He doesn't have the truck it's going to take, it appears, at this point to win this race. You know, they were concerned about practice. They didn't run as well as they hoped. And now we're beginning to see 20-some laps into the run that things going away on him.
Ron Hornaday's crew chief, Rick Wren, was really upset that they didn't get to qualify because they didn't feel as though Mike Skinner was going to qualify that well, so he wouldn't have this advantage of starting up front and leading this race and getting 5 bonus points.
Well, he's dropping back now. You can see another truck there. Quapple went by him. Crawford's all over him.
Crawford on his back bumper. He looks to the inside.
What a helpless feeling it is, too, Phil, at this point in the race when the truck isn't that good and you're starting in front. It seems like the whole world is passing you.
There's nowhere to hide.
No, you can't.
So now our top 5 are Ron Hornaday, Todd Bodine, Travis Quapple, Rick Crawford, and Mike Skinner. Your top 5, Johnny Benson trying to take that position away from Skinner next.
There's the K&N Filters Ford right there at Travis Quapple. And boy, has he turned his season around here in the last few weeks.
Travis Quapple finding victories in Michigan and Memphis. Second place at Kentucky 2 weeks ago. Adam?
And we were talking to Travis earlier today, and he said it's so frustrating, running good. You guys talked about the momentum this team has, and still not being able to pick up points on leader Mike Skinner because he's so consistent running good every week. Another good run tonight by Quapple may put a dent in Skinner's lead, and he's trying to climb a little closer to the front right here, going to the outside of Todd Bodine.
Now he looks back to the inside, right on the back bumper of Todd Bodine. This is short track racing, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Ooh, and it's fun, too. These guys are to a point on their tires now, Phil, where they're thinking, you know, a caution would be pretty nice right now. And sometimes when you have rain, NASCAR will give a competition caution so you can check out your tires and check out your truck. Didn't hear anything about that today at the drivers' meeting.
Yeah, they normally will alert the teams in the drivers' meeting if they're going to do something like that. But as Michael said, they did not make any comment.
Oh, we got a spin.
71 truck is around Pierre Bourque.
Oh, and the 08 runs head on into him.
And they're trying to slow down here. They're going a little bit quick coming into turn 1, but they do get slowed down. Again, that's the 71, Pierre Bourque.
That's Andy Hillenberg's truck right there. Brian Silas made a couple starts in the Craftsman Truck Series in that truck. You see the
fluid coming out
of the radiator. Busted the radiator there when the 08 of Chad McCumbee came along.
And let me just, it is so easy to say, why did he run into him? When you dive down into the corner, Phil,
you're going as hard as you can.
You can't just.
You can't slow down anymore.
No, if you get on the brakes too hard, the front tires will slide you right into him. It looked like it was just something he could have avoided, but inside that truck, he was hopeless.
Let's take a look back at what happened.
See the 71's down on the inside of the 07 of Tim Sauter. Pierre Bourque, he loses control. He backs into the outside wall. And there's Chad McCumbee. Again, you can see the left front wheel was locked up. And that was a situation when you lock the front wheels up, the truck's going to go straight.
And he just, you know, he finally saw he couldn't get it turned, and got on the brakes so hard that they did lock up. But, you know, we've seen Chad miss wreck after wreck. A really, really quality young race car driver. Just wasn't any way for him to miss that one.
A lot of damage on that 08.
Got some pit action,
71.
guys.
Yeah, the 9 of Ted Musgrave's on pit road right now.
And you're never going to believe who's going to get the lucky dog.
The lucky dog truck?
Yeah.
Ray Dunlap.
Musgrave is going with 4 tires on his ASE Toyota. What he's saying is that his truck is really loose in the center, so they wanted to make an air pressure adjustment on Ted Musgrave's truck, and he is already back out towards the racetrack.
Yeah, Ray, he's one of the few trucks that did come down pit road.
A little bit surprised we didn't see Skinner come in. He was really falling back through the field, Rick.
Well, and maybe just a bit early. I mean, if we're going to see maybe a one-stop race, they may have to go to lap 65 or lap 70 before they do it.
That's if your truck's good. His doesn't appear to be that good. Look at there.
Aaron's lucky dog going to Justin Labonte. We'll be back with more racing from ORP after this. Welcome back. Again, our first caution has come out at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Underway with the Power Stroke Diesel 200 presented by Ford and International.
Rick, let's take a look back at how this thing got started. We talked about it being a little ragged start. You see, Ron Hornaday was about a truck length and a half ahead of Mike Skinner, and Mike Skinner got on the throttle. He got down to turn number 1, but that's when the business picked up here. They made contact, Michael, on lap number 1, and here's lap number 2. Coming off turn number 2, they make contact. Both get sideways. They're not done making contact. They get down to turn 3. They make contact again. Hornaday gets completely sideways. And then on lap number 6, Ron Hornaday bounces off the fence.
He runs into the wall, but the action isn't done yet. How about trying to get around a lap truck? These guys are racing so hard. They used the pit, the 33, tried to get under the 5 with this lap truck, almost went 3 wide.
So out in front of the field now, it is Ron Hornaday.
That's all about a championship right there, Rick. Hornaday said, I don't need to let this man with this huge point lead the first lap and get those 5 points. And then when the 5 did, then Hornaday just said, well, I can't let him lead another one. And he went at him hard for 20-some laps before he finally made the move. And I think Skinner's vulnerable tonight to lose a lot of points. And I don't understand. I think I might have pitted there, Phil. What do you think?
I think I would have too, because he's obviously, the truck is not like he wants it right now. He's already faded all the way back to the 7th position. They may be sticking with a strategy of when they want to get to a window to pit.
Safety crew still continuing to clean the track. Craftsman always on the cutting edge of technology when it comes to tools. Tonight we want to spotlight another important piece of equipment that Craftsman makes available to all of us in the Craftsman Tools of the Trade.
You know, normally on Tools of the Trade, I'm talking to you about something new and innovative from Craftsman, like a new wrench, or how about this really cool chair? But not today, because I want to talk to you about things that you can actually wear. Craftsman now has a new line of clothing in the stores with the Craftsman logo right on it. Check out these boots, slip-resistant sole, a really nice line of brand new jeans that have the name of your favorite brand of tools right on the back. They've got coveralls and shirts, and the cool thing is they're all in a Sears store near you.
You can check out this Craftsman Tools of the Trade and other great programming on Speed on Demand.
I watched Ray do that. He's pretty good.
He is good. I thought that was quite good.
Did it in one take.
Adam, what's going on with Regan Smith?
Well, they pitted there, Phil, at lap 33. They probably wouldn't have done that with as good as their truck is if we had qualified and they'd had a solid truck. But because we started on points and they rolled off 29th, they had to do something to get off sequence. So they came down pit road early. Perhaps they'll stay out later when the rest of the field comes down pit road. He was a little tight. 4 tires, fuel, and a slight chassis adjustment. And he's lined up to start in the 25th position when we go back to green.
I love that move. You know, you gotta mix it up. They've got a good truck and they pitted, but they didn't have track position. Skinner's got track position. He doesn't like his truck and they decided not to pit. There are so many different ways to get a good finish at one of these events.
You know, you would think here at ORP with the action like it is, the beating and banging, we would get a lot of cautious flags. We would never even remotely come close to having a green flag pit stop. But we have had green flag pit stops here. And right now, Regan Smith, Ted Musgrave, and all those other drivers that stopped on that caution flag have about 35, 40 more laps of fuel than do the guys that stayed out.
I think it's interesting when a track is tough, difficult to drive, like ORP is, you see fewer cautions because people can't just fly in the corner and get up against the guy or get on the inside of him and root him out of the way. You have to respect the track, so then you have to respect your fellow competitors. You go to somewhere like Mansfield, they just run over each other. No big deal. The track's easy to get around. Here, it's a tough track, and it means that you have to respect it, which means you're a little bit more careful.
And you're also throwing maybe a little bit of strategy into this, like Regan Smith did, where he came in a little bit earlier. He started this race in 29th. He will restart in the 25th position because he's got a good truck, and starting in the back, now he's got better tires.
Got better tires. He just mixed it up. He knows when there's a caution in 20 laps, there's a pretty good chance a bunch of these leaders are coming, and he won't. Adam?
Well, Michael, one of the concerns about these guys going over the wall when they do pit, some of these lead pit guys, is the fact that it's still wet on pit road. So Mike Hillman Sr., the guy that oversees your Germain Racing operation, told his crew guys to take a soda can. And the stickiness of this will help make for better traction when these guys go over the wall. So they just took, and if you take a look at the pit area, you can see how damp it is. But they were able to litter it with soda cans and perhaps make it sticky enough that when they go over the wall, they won't slip and fall. Because as you guys know, track position being everything tonight, one bad pit stop could take you right out of the game.
That's an old indoor midget trick. When they have run midgets indoors, they use Coke syrup on the floor of a Coliseum or whatever it may be for more traction.
You see the dryers on a lot of the pit stalls down there, trying to make sure that those are still dry when the teams do decide to come onto pit road.
We said they were going to go back to green a couple of laps ago, but there was still some moisture from the crash we had a couple of laps ago. They were finishing up in turn 1, so now we're ready to go back racing.
Well, race day fans, we're looking for your photos, so show us your colors of speed for a chance to see yourself on race day. We'll select the best photo each week and show it on air. It's all part of My Race Day. Upload your photos to speedtv.com, keyword My Race Day now. Be on that show with Kenny and Jimmy.
That's a fun show. I like listening to Kenny Wallace.
He laughs a little bit. Wendy Venturini also on that show with them.
And then, you know, Jimmy Spencer's on there too.
Getting ready for a restart here. Ron Hornaday going to bring him down.
Hornaday with a good start. Just behind him, it's Todd Bodine, Travis Quapple, Rick Crawford, Johnny Benson, our top 5 on the restart.
Travis Quapple would love to see Todd Bodine go to the inside to try to make a move on Ron Hornaday, and he will close that hole up and go to the outside.
Looks like Travis has got a really stout truck, Phil. He's all over Todd.
Rick Crawford also getting right up on the back bumper of that 6 of Travis Quapple.
What about the run that 6 truck has gone on in the last month or so?
Been very good. 1-2 races here in the last month or so.
First, 8th, 1st, and 2nd. Past 4 races.
Todd is looking to the inside, see if he can make something happen down there, get a little grip down there, a little more than is normally there.
I like what you said earlier, Phil. These guys are just seemingly running a little bit lower every lap at this track this weekend.
And the reason we talk about the groove being up high where Ron Hornaday's running right now is because the racetrack is actually progressively banked. It's banked a little bit more up there. That's why you typically get a little bit more speed up there than you do down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Side by side for 8th and 9th.
The only way you can run good on the bottom is if your truck's free. I mean, you can't go down there with a truck that's pushing in the turns.
Blake Bjorklund trying to find a place to get back in line. He's on the bottom of the racetrack in that red number 8. Eric Darnell on his outside in the 99. Jack Sprague just in front of him in the 60.
You know, all the Roush trucks were very, very good in the final practice. All 3 Roush trucks. Eric Darnell, the 99 right here that's moving. Oh, you got it to the outside.
Into the wall. That is the 63. Scott Lynch.
Caution flag is out.
Brings out our second caution of the night.
Tough break for Scott Lynch and the Busman Ford out of the Mittler Brothers stable.
He's been passing trucks ever since they threw the green flag, so he's having a good run. What do you think, Phil? I don't think they pit now.
I don't think so either. We're 47 laps in. You know, we can only run maybe 120 laps probably on the outside on fuel, so I don't know. You know, another way to look at it, Michael, is we're almost halfway through a fuel run too, so you know, maybe it's a situation where you want to, you know, try to keep some track position, maybe get some fuel, or maybe right side tires. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
We'll find out what strategy takes place here at ORP when we come back. We know Scott Lynch has got a lot of work to do to get that 63 back on the racetrack. Welcome back. We're taking a look at the Aaron's lucky dog, Brandon Miller, receiving the free pass, so Brandon will be able to pass the lead trucks, get back on the lead lap, be at the tail end.
I probably hadn't mentioned it, but you can lease quality stuff from Aaron's.
You haven't mentioned it. Thank you, by the way. Hornaday out in front of the field. Todd Bodine's running second. Travis Quapple, Rick Crawford, Johnny Benson's our top 5. coming out of turn 4. Green flag back in the air. We're back to racing.
We had a handful of trucks that did come on pit road during that caution flag, but none of the trucks, I don't think they were running up in the top 20.
Well, we have another 10 or 15 lap run and the caution comes out. These guys are going to have a decision to make. Like Phil said, we're pretty much halfway through a fuel run, and we do see a lot of green flag racing here traditionally.
There's Kenny Schrader right there in the Fastenal Dodge out of Bobby Hamilton Racing Stables. He was able to get by the 09 of Stacy Compton right after the restart came out. There's Brendan Gaughan right on the bottom of the racetrack trying to get up beside the 09 of Stacy Compton.
You know, Phil, and that's something these crew chiefs do. They look at the history of this race from the beginning, and they plot when the cautions fly and how long they last, so they have some sort of feel about what historically happens during one of these races.
Kenny Schrader making another move on the 07 of Tim Sauter.
See on the bottom of that racetrack, South Point Chevrolet of Brendan Gaughan working the yellow line, actually below the yellow line now.
Kenny was able to make that pass. He's up to the 11th spot right now. I'll tell you, that 18's on the move, guys.
I think following him is going to be the 77 of Brendan Gaughan. And right in front of him is David Green in the number 1. Brendan running an unconventional line for him, a lot lower on the racetrack, Adam.
I think, oh, go ahead, Adam, I'm sorry.
Well, Michael, I was just going to add on Brendan Gaughan there. They were talking about how good their short track program has been this year in comparison to years past, but how they simply can't catch a break. Someone on the crew at dinner last night said, we need a wishing well. Well, you know, there's a small pond on the infield here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, so they all took pennies and threw them out in the middle of the track, hoping that would perhaps bring them some luck. They didn't get any luck by not qualifying today because they had a good truck, had to start back in the field, but he's come from 19th to 13th in 55 laps, and he's looking for more as you look at the battle on track between the 6 and the 14 for third.
You know, I used to think Brendan just liked running high, but I think he just likes running wherever nobody else is. If you look up high, oh, man, I love our seats. We're down here in turn 1, and they're
61 just rubbed into the wall there as they went through turn 1 and 2.
Kenny Schrader's been able to make his way by the 1 of David Green. That moves him up into the top 10.
Man, it'd be cool to see Schrader get up there and win this race for Bobby Hamilton Racing.
You know, he loves running this truck, too. I spent some time with him. We went over Wednesday to Peebly, Missouri, to the dirt track he owns and ran a race. And he just loves running this truck series.
He won in the first year of the truck series.
It's Saugus,
California. Yep. Basically like racing in a parking lot, flatter than...
He told me that when he got out there, he asked somebody, where's the racetrack?
They said, that's it.
That's it.
Ray Dunlap.
Just want to add on Schrader. He is driving a truck that they call Slim. And this is the oldest truck in Bobby Hamilton's current stable right now of race trucks. This exact chassis that Schrader is driving tonight, believe it or not, guys, has run 46 races. Old Slim is back out, and Schrader's got her heading to the front.
Well, that battle between the 99 and the 60, we saw that battle before the caution flag came out. They're continuing to run side by side there. Eric Darnell had a great truck in practice on Northern Tool and Equipment Ford, and it looks like he's getting it done here, going for the 8th spot.
Eric Darnell trying to take that position away from Jack Sprague. Sprague, Skinner, and just in front of them is Matt Crafton. Now, Matt Crafton is the only truck in the top 10 right now that's never won a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. So your top 10 filled with guys who have made it to victory lane.
How about that 18 truck again going on the inside of Jack Sprague, looking for the 9th spot. Got to keep an eye on this 18 now, especially if he gets up here, gets him some track position. Maybe he can pass his way to the top 5, and then he can get in sync with the rest of the trucks on the lead lap.
Well, the thing that I like about Schrader, he's a smart racer. He's thinking about what that truck's doing right now, what he likes about it, and how he can improve it. He's going to give that type of feedback as he moves into that 9th spot. He's going to give that type of feedback to the crew, and they will make it better yet.
4th and 5th, the battle there between Johnny Benson and Travis Quapple. Quapple's dropped back a couple spots after Rick Crawford went by Quapple. Crawford checked out on him, and so Crawford is now reeling in Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday.
Check out the left side of our screen. That 07 of Tim Sauter is staying right with that 60 of Jack Sprague and the 18 of Kenny Schrader.
He's fast, Phil. He's been all over both those trucks.
Adam, what's going on with Travis Quapple? Is there a problem?
Tight in the center, the word for Travis Quapple. Mike Dean, the crew chief, just came over the radio, said, you're fine, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll get you fixed up when you come in. He had rallied up to 3rd in the running order, but Travis Quapple now finds finds himself riding 5th because the truck will not turn in the corner.
Boy, Tim Sauter, Mike Skinner has now lost another spot. Kenny Schrader has gotten by Mike Skinner.
And Tim Sauter's coming with him. Look how low Tim is, Phil. Way down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Below the yellow line.
And making it work, he drives around Sprague.
You're not supposed to be able to make that work here.
A green racetrack, and some of the drivers are making use of all of the real estate here.
It's a wide racetrack, too. You can see he's under the yellow line.
How about that? What a great run for Tim Sauter. His best career finish just came a few races ago at Memphis. He finished in the 11th position. Sprague's going to battle back in the middle. Don't normally say that here.
Tim drives up under Skinner, but look at all the momentum he lost off turn 4 there.
Tim Sauter leading now the Rookie of the Year points. So looking for that title.
You can see how hard it is to get bite down there because, again, the racetrack's a little bit flatter down there on the bottom than it is up high. You can see how difficult it is for Tim Sauter to try to get that bite, get in that throttle, and stay in that throttle coming off the corner.
But when you make that bet, Phil, you got to lay in it. He made progress getting to where he is on the low side, but now he's losing all those positions that he gained so aggressively down low. Finally finds him a hole there.
See Ted Musgrave, he made a pit stop early on lap number 32. He has joined this battle along with the 47 of Regan Smith, who had such a good truck in practice and started way back.
Tim Sauter still looking to the inside now of Ted Musgrave. Out in front of the field, it is Ron Hornaday. We've had 2 different trucks lead at ORP. It's been Hornaday and Skinner. Hornaday has now led over 47 laps of the 68 that have been run. Hornaday, Bodine, Crawford, Benson, and Quapple, your top 5 in the Power Stroke Diesel 200. Welcome back. Side-by-side racing continuing here at ORP. Now it's a battle for second. Here comes Crawford on the outside of Todd Bodine.
Todd's trying to get that bite down on the bottom. I don't know if it's going to happen here. Rick Crawford, he just needs to get right up beside him, so if he comes off the corner, if he's even with him, then he'll beat him down at the other end of the racetrack.
Oh, he's got it now, Phil.
He had a good run off of turn number 2. Now we work into 3 and 4. And Crawford out in front of Todd Bodine. He takes second away.
That's a classic example of what you can do at this racetrack. You think on a short track you got to go low. Rick Crawford goes around the high side, loses 2 truck lengths in the center of the corner, makes them all up coming off the turn.
Adam.
He said nothing but good things about the racetrack. I'm talking about Rick Crawford, and he's in the same vehicle tonight that he took to victory lane 1 year ago. He started 5th. He's up to 2nd. They made some changes at the end of happy hour, thinking they could make this truck a contender, and so far it appears that is indeed the case. Ray?
Big trouble for Mike Skinner. He just came on the radio and said this truck is pushing like a dump truck. He said, guys, we are in big trouble tonight. Skinner has fallen back to 13th right now. Hornaday continues to lead, has a very good chance of leading the most laps, and a big crash. Yellow is out.
Spin off 4. That's Brett Thompson.
Yeah, it looks like the 61 of Brett Thompson.
He's had an eventful evening.
He sure has. So far it looks like there was one other truck that looked like they also got turned around in the aftermath in the smoke. We'll get a number on that when he gets over here.
Be interesting to see who the lucky dog is. Skinner was in the middle of 3, trying to lap 3 trucks, and they were all side by side when he spun.
We just completed lap 78, so we are going to potentially be inside of our window of a one-stop race.
Yeah,
so
we're going to take a chance anyway. Yeah, everyone's coming down pit road here. Now, maybe some of the guys that stopped, just a few laps ago may decide to stay out for track position, but I think it would be advisable for everyone to come on pit road right now.
I think the 47 might stay out. He stays out, he can run another 30 or 40 laps further than we are now, or these guys will. But listen, here's the key to what the 47 does. If he's able to stay out now, gets a timely caution later, his tires will be fresh for the end of the race.
Also included in the 47, the 21 came in just recently as well, John Wood, and he was really moving toward the front even after coming in just a few laps ago.
Yeah, he was one of those trucks that came in on lap number 48, the last caution flag we had. See if we can take a look back at what happened to the, Looked like the 10 of David Starr got a little bit loose, had to chase the truck up the hill, and he's the one that made contact with the 61 of Brett Thompson, and that turned him around.
And coming into that smoke is the leader and 3 or 4 guys trying to stay on the lead lap.
You know, there are a lot of trucks right there. It is amazing with all that smoke that everyone was able to get through there without making any other contact. Here's David Starr's number. Watch him get loose down there in the center of the corner. See him, he got loose, had to chase it up the hill.
He just couldn't hold it down.
We've got some leaders on pit road.
Here they come onto pit road, Adam.
Todd Bodine started third. He has stayed in that position, but he has lost some ground on the track. The reason being tight in the center and off. No chassis adjustments, but they are going to do it with air pressure. Mike Hillman Jr., the crew chief, calling for 4 tires and fuel. You see Bodine, bottom of your screen, to Ray Dunlap.
Johnny Benson is in the middle of your screen. They are going to take a pound out of both fronts and a half a pound out of the right rear. He's very, very loose. For Ron Hornaday, no changes on his truck, just 4 tires. Front tire changer slid just a little bit. Once again, this is a very slick pit road. They clean off the windshield. Hornaday is going to lose some spots on pit road.
That's off of pit road. Now you see the 14 of Rick Crawford trying to win that race. Travis Kvapil out just in front of him.
That's organized chaos there, Phil.
Sure is.
The angle we have looking down that pit road, you're just amazed how these guys work their way in and out of the pit.
So as we had mentioned, potentially the 47 and the 21 staying on the racetrack. They did not. They came into pit road as well. We'll shake it all out. Who came out first? Pit road when we come back. Welcome back to ORP. The green flag just coming out. Willie Allen in front of the field. Jason White just behind him in the number 7.
Those are the 2 only lead lap trucks that stayed on the racetrack on this most recent caution flag.
Travis Kvapil right behind him in that K&N Ford. And Kvapil's looking to the inside right now of Jason White.
The first race Willie Allen has led, I believe.
First in 17 starts in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Willie Allen in front of him.
Jason's having a good run in that 7 truck.
He really is. He's doing a nice job. Stayed on the lead lap. Just critical to Hooters energy drink truck right there. They made the switch to Dodge, I believe, didn't they?
Yeah, actually a sad week for Barry Dodson, the crew chief on that truck right there. A good friend of his, Skip Prosser.
Oh, got a crash in turn 4.
Oh, very close. It's at 61 again of Brett Thompson.
This one might do him in, Phil.
Yeah. But you were saying about Barry Dodson.
Yeah, Barry Dodson, good friends with Skip Prosser, and Skip lost his life earlier this week. And so the whole Wake Forest family, and they're carrying the Demon Deacons sticker on the number 7 truck tonight. But a tragic loss, obviously, in the college basketball world.
What a well-respected man Skip Prosser was. I know all his colleagues and all the basketball community is hurting over that loss.
We'll be back. More racing to continue from ORP on Speed. Welcome back. We're continuing on the 21 of John Wood. He was involved in this most recent accident with Brett Thompson, and so we put a little tape on the front end of that truck and let's take another look at how he was involved.
See him right there. More than likely, because of the damage to the front end of that truck, he may have made contact with the back of that 61 of Brett Thompson as they entered turn number 3, and then turned Brett around and then caught the 21 of John Wood up against the fence. A lot of damage to the front of that 21 Marsh truck, and it looks like it's not going to affect the front tires, so I don't know that this is really going to bother him. And he had a great truck. He had moved his way up into the top 15 even after pitting on lap number 48 when most of the trucks stayed on the racetrack.
Well, you can see the right side's clean, so I don't think he got into the wall, which would have messed up his toe. And they look like they patched up that nose quite nicely, so he could say, remember last time out of Kentucky, he spins out and runs 6. Now he's gotten a little bit of an altercation. Maybe it's going to inspire him to drive to the front. Did at Kentucky. What are you doing, Adam?
Well, let's talk a little bit about Travis Kvapil, Michael, and the fact that he had a tight handling race truck on that earlier run. He came in the 5th position when he pitted at lap 80. 4 tires, fuel, an adjustment, and some air pressure, and the crew got him from 5th to the top spot coming off the pit lane. He restarts 3rd because the 2 guys in front of him simply did not come down pit road. Then right behind him, Rick Crawford. That truck really coming on. So satisfied when he pitted at lap 80. 4 tires, fuel, no changes. A good stop for him. And he's lined up right behind Travis Kvapil, as you see on the racetrack, right?
Well, Adam, we documented that Ron Hornaday lost 2 spots on pit road, but how about Johnny Benson? The 23 team lost 5 spots during that round of pit stops, and the driver came on the radio and said, guys, you're going to have to help me out a little bit with that. He said it is so tough to pass here on this racetrack. We cannot lose that many spots on the pits. We'll probably pit one more time today. He said, try to get me some of those back.
Johnny Benson back in the 11th position now. The guy on the move has been Regan Smith in that 47. He's all the way up into the top 10 now in the 9th position. So he's moving forward.
Yeah, some good pit work too on that last pit stop.
That's a classic example of having a bad starting spot and using some strategy. Mix things up. Just do something different than everyone else and hopefully take advantage of track position. And they've got a good truck. They've been able to mix it up a little bit. Now he finds himself in the top 10.
Trying to rewrite history too. No one has ever won this race outside of the top 5 starting positions. Regan Smith started 29th in this race.
You know, that is an amazing stat here. With 12 previous races, nobody started winning from farther back than 5th.
Yeah, I believe the average starting position is like 2.33 or something.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, 2 1/3 is where the winners have started.
Usually the faster trucks start in the front.
That usually helps. That usually helps.
Thanks, Michael. And coming out of turn number 4, we're about ready to go back to green flag racing.
They don't call me the best color man in the business for nothing.
Green flag back out. It's still Willie Allen in front of Jason White. Then Travis Kvapil, Rick Crawford, Ron Hornaday, your top 5.
Great restart for Willie Allen. He opened up about 3 or 4 truck lengths on Jason White, our 2nd place truck right now. There's Ron Hornaday on the inside of the 14 of Rick Crawford.
Ron's trying to get it right now, Phil. The tires are new. He wants to make ground while the sun's shining.
Look at Matt Craftsman go around the outside of the 30 of top 9 for a spot.
Side by side, battling for positions. Riding along with Rick Crawford, looking to the inside. Here comes Ron Hornaday.
Not able to get the bite down there. You see Travis Kvapil moves to the inside of Jason White for the 2nd spot. Where's Rick Crawford going to go?
He's going to go
to the inside.
He's going to go with Kvapil. He thinks Kvapil will get that 7 truck cleared. As he does, I bet you Willie Allen's thinking, man, this leading's cool. It's a lot easier than running in the back.
Yeah. The only problem is I'm going to have to stop again.
Ron Hornaday looking to the inside. He's also going to try to get by Jason White at number 7. White now dropped back to the 5th position. Willie Allen trying to take a book out of Mike Skinner's page out of Mike Skinner's book as Skinner dominated in Kentucky 2 weeks ago. Willie Allen trying to run away. Adam?
And guys, you should be reminded his best ever finish in the Truck Series, a top 10 at Martinsville a couple of years ago, another short track. That's where his roots are. So if there's a place where Willie Allen would be successful, it would be on a short track, much like what we're racing on tonight here at ORP. And right now, while Travis Kvapil is bearing down on him, he is enjoying life out front.
You know,
getting very close. Problems into the wall. Jason White backs it into the wall in turn number 1. The field trying to slow down on the inside of the racetrack. That will bring out our 5th caution of the day.
Yeah, hard contact into the outside wall. These trucks enter the corner at about 120 or 25 miles an hour. Something happened to Jason. I don't know if there was contact there. Looked like it, Michael?
Yeah, the 88, I think, got a hold of him. And that's a shame. You know, he was running 2nd. Everybody worked their way around him. He was having a good run, and then somebody gets into him and messes it up. I don't know if it was the 88's fault or the 7's fault. Maybe we can get a look at it, but I know there was some contact.
Take another look at it.
I thought they were going to come in the booth with us.
Yeah, the 88 certainly made contact with the 7.
That's just a shame. You'd like to see a guy like that get a little respect. You know, he's running up in the front, hadn't been up there a lot, was minding his own business, and just gets run over.
Yeah, Matt Craftsman was not expecting the 7 of Jason White to turn down to go as low as he was entering the corner, and made some contact. And tough break. Here's another view here from Jack Sprague's on board.
It's a deal, Phil, where you just have to be aware. You have to respect what the guy in front of you might do and give him a little bit of room. It's too early to be running over someone. But again, much to Matt's, to defend Matt a little bit, the 7 entered the corner very low, like you said. He got off 4 high, and he bumped with Matt on the straightaway, and then he entered low. And maybe Matt just said, look, man, I showed you I was here, and I'm going to stay here this time.
There's Jason. Good to see him out of the truck. I'm sure very frustrated. Had a good run going. Again, he knew that he didn't necessarily have the truck to maybe stay up front, but he was doing a good job not really getting in the way, letting some of the faster trucks by him, and unfortunately a little contact.
You know, that's what they call that's racing. That's racing on a short track. It's hard to point fingers. They had gotten together a little bit before. You just hate to see a guy like this have a problem.
Yeah, you saw Jason White as Matt Crafton was going by. He kind of put his hands up in the air like, what? You know, what did I do? I was just racing.
Look at that.
It's Lucky Dog going to Terry Cook, that number 59. So Terry Cook back on the lead lap. That makes it 30 trucks on the lead lap.
Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, by Fastenal, we get it right, and by Edge Products, the leader in performance electronics.
Our Fastenal Fast Start today, we want to obviously spotlight Regan Smith. What a move he has made. Started 29th, currently running in the top 10, actually 8th. So a great start for Regan Smith and some good strategy early on in this race. Big story there with Regan Smith running for Ginn. The big merger between DEI and Ginn being announced this week. We take a look at our race summary after just over the halfway point. Willie Allen out in front. 4 different drivers have led this race. 5 cautions for 31 laps. First truck just leaving the racetrack now, as far as won't be back out onto the track.
Getting ready to go back to racing here. We're over halfway now. Just be 97 laps to go when we get the green.
Green's in the air. Willie Allen still trying to stay in front of Travis Kvapil. Kvapil looks inside as they go to 1 and 2.
And Hornaday jumps to the inside of Rick Crawford. Not able to make it happen yet.
Kvapil makes the pass. Willie Allen drops to second. Crawford trying to hold on to third, but here comes Ron Hornaday.
Oh! That's going to slow the progress of Crawford. Hornaday bumps the cap, picks up a spot. Picks up 2 spots.
Look at Matt Crafton on the inside of Crawford, not able to make it work. Good job by Willie Allen to save that truck over there in turn 4.
And Rick Crawford to not get into more trouble than he has had the past 2 races.
Do you have a sense that Ron Hornaday may be on a mission here or something?
I know he is. He knows he's got a fast truck. He drove off and left him early. And now he's got the leader in his sights.
But look behind sideways. Yeah, Tom Bodine has moved right up on the rear bumper of that Camping World Chevrolet. Adam, what's going on with Tom Bodine on the inside?
They had a report of damage earlier in the race on this truck, Phil, and it actually happened on a caution when all the leaders were checking up to avoid the accident. Matt Crafton got into it, created the damage on the truck. They had talked about coming down pit road and repairing it on their next stop. Mike Hillman Jr. said, we're not worried about it. The next time we're pitting is Nashville, indicating perhaps they'll stay out from here on. Ray?
Adam, let's talk about Mike Skinner. He came on the radio and said to his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, I really need to pit here. We've got to work on this thing. This truck is so tight, I can't turn it through the center. Jeff Hensley said, we can't give up that track position. He said, there's no way because it could rain again, and this is an official race. We don't want to pit here. Mike Skinner says, if you don't pit me now, we're going to just keep on going back and back and back.
We just lost another spot to the 18 of Kenny Schrader, Ray.
And there's no reason to think that that is not exactly what's going to happen. Back and back and back. They're lined up behind him.
What a big point night for Ron Hornaday it could be. Second in the points, and Mike Skinner backing up as Hornaday's trying to challenge for the lead.
Speaking of Ron Hornaday, just watched just a few moments ago. That's the 13 of Willie Allen. Hornaday makes contact. Willie gets completely sideways. Hornaday takes advantage, jumps by the 14 and the 13. Here's Rick Crawford's on board. The same incident right here. Watch left of your screen. You're going to see Ron Hornaday duck in there. He makes contact. He slides up in the middle. Rick Crawford makes a slight bit of contact with the 13 of Willie Allen, but able to continue.
So now it is Travis Kvapil in front of Ron Hornaday, Todd Bodine, Rick Crawford, and Matt Crafton, your top 5.
And you see Skinner lost another position to Brendan Gaughan in the last turn. And David Green is all over him. And look at Tim Sauter. What's he doing?
Whoa. He's running into David Green right now. A couple times.
Look at all the trucks that have been stacked up behind Skinner. I know Skinner was glad to see Tim Sauter run into David Green. It gave him a little bit of time to breathe. What about the one down there? You guys got a report on him?
Yeah, Michael, I'll jump in on that because David Green said he has absolutely no rear grip through the center. So they dropped the track bar quite a bit on this last pit stop to try to help tighten his truck up a little bit. But he just came on the radio a few moments ago and said it's not much better.
Well, I think he didn't have any rear grip that lap because he had somebody up under his tailgate.
He had his rear wheels were up off the ground?
They're not going to grip overly well when you have that.
How about Regan Smith right there? That's a battle for the 7th position. Johnny Benson, the 23 Toyota on the inside. Regan Smith, the 47 Gin Resort Chevrolet on the outside.
They're side by side. Regan Smith still just in front of Johnny Benson. Out in front of the field, it's Travis Quaffle still leading as that battle continues back behind him. Benson on the inside. Regan Smith on the outside.
See Eric Darnell right in front of this battle trying to get to the inside of Matt Crafton. Not able to do it that lap.
Through the corners very even. And when they come onto the straightaway, Regan Smith normally able to get a nose out in front of that 23.
Just using that momentum, Rick, up on that high side, able to keep her wound up. But Johnny closes the deal there.
Travis Quaffle trying to close the deal here at ORP. Quaffle leading this field. It has been 7 different lead changes.
Holy cow, the 00 has spun out, but he did not hit anything yet. He's making a lot of smoke.
And as Michael put it so eloquently, the 00 spun out. So that brings out our 6th.
He ran into 63 when he was trying to get going.
It looked like that they were trying to get going before the lap leader came up and lapped him. I don't know if that accomplished or not, Phil.
You see the contact he made right there with Scott Lynch in the 63 truck. We'll have to take a look back at it.
I don't know that he stayed ahead. I guess he wasn't making momentum.
See a splitter has come loose on the right front corner here. See what happened here. You see him on the inside of the 21 of John Wood.
Just trying to stay off John, and the thing got loose with him.
Right down there in the flat part of the racetrack, flatter part of the racetrack.
Justin was making some good moves in that Aaron's Dream Machine truck.
Look, there you see him lose control on the inside of the racetrack.
This is a better look at it. We can see what happens.
See when the 63, see all the smoke right there. We don't even see the 00 anymore. You see him back up a little bit. He can't see anything. When he starts to go there, you see the contact right there. You actually saw the truck bump when he got into the 63 of Scott Lynch. And there's our leader, Travis Quaffle, right behind the 63 of Scott Lynch.
And I don't think the 00 will be allowed to get the lap back because he caused the caution. Look at there.
Right down lap.
Mike Skinner is going to bring his Toyota Tundra down and go to the pits. Jeff Hensley just said to him, we are going to get lapped if we do not pit and make some adjustments on this truck here. So he is going to bring it down here. They're going to make a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment for Skinner to try to make him a little bit better. They continued to go backwards on that last long run.
Phil, they had to do something.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they were, as you know, Ray talked about, they were going backwards. They were going to get lapped. See a lot of other trucks coming down pit road right now. There's a 21 of John Wood. He ducked in the pits. The 88 of Matt Crafton is on pit road. Willie Allen, the 13. A number of the lead lap trucks are on pit road right now.
That'll certainly help Skinner maintain some sort of track position, but it looks like they're having a bad stop. I think they pulled a rubber there or something.
They must have made a pretty serious adjustment, I would think.
Skinner will work his way back out on the racetrack. A subpar performance to this point for Mike Skinner. He's finished in the top 10 every race up to this point. Sunday grassroots racing will never be the same. 1 hour, 2 new shows. Should Speed pick up these pilots or take them off the air? Launch hour Sunday 10 p.m. Eastern only on Speed. Coming out of 4, the green flag flies. We're back to racing at ORP.
There's a guy that lost right there, the number 6 of Travis Quaffle. See Ron Hornaday right on his tailgate.
Hornaday trying to reel in Travis Quaffle.
You know, we've talked about how important it is to start up front here at this race. Right now, our trucks running first through fourth, all started in the top 5.
Adam, what do you think about our leaders?
Yeah, they've looked pretty solid on the racetrack, Rick. And, you know, when this race started, I think a lot of people thought this would be a 2-stop race. But that first pit stop coming at lap 80 really changed things. The other thing that made these leaders stay out under this last caution is the fact there are still 30 trucks on the lead lap. And Mike Bean, the crew chief, told Travis Quapple, we don't stand a chance to make our way back through the field because everybody else will stay out. So let's just go ahead and stay out as well.
Boy, there's a lot of 2 and even 3 wide racing around this racetrack. We know we're about 70 laps from the end of this thing. Those guys running outside the top 10 right now know they're going to have to pass some trucks, maybe have to lean on some people.
Well, our point leader, Mike Skinner, he's in the middle of a mess right now and has given up a lot of that point lead tonight as they run right this minute. Of course, he's got fresh tires. He's looking to move up from his 25th position that he's in now, but Phil, he's not making any progress.
He really isn't. I know they made some pretty substantial adjustments as we watch the 18 of Kenny Schrader try to get by the 47 of Regan Smith. That is a battle for the 7th position. But Mike Skinner is mired in the very, very back here. Been able to get by a couple trucks here in the last lap or so.
Regan Smith again starting back in the 29th position. He's made it all the way up into the 7th spot. And speaking of 29th position, what Skinner is almost back there.
Oh, got a crash.
He's in 24th. We've got a problem though.
The 13 and the 8. Looked like the 13 and the 8 got together up in 3 and 4, right ahead of our point leader, Mike Skinner, Ray.
That will bring our caution flag out. See a lot of damage on the 13 of Willie Allen on the right side, the Thor Sport Chevrolet.
Willie Allen had restarted this race back 2 restarts ago out in front of the field as he had stayed out. You see a lot of damage there on the 8 of Blake Bjorklund. Let's ride along with Willie Allen.
So 21 right behind him.
He's down on the inside of Blake, gets loose. You see that, Phil? He just got down on the inside, got loose, and got up into Blake.
He slid up to the top of the racetrack and made some contact with the 8 of Blake Bjorklund.
7 cautions have come out at O'Reilly Raceway Park. The finish coming up when we return.
This is.
Welcome back. Green flag just coming out, and Hornaday all over the back of Travis Quapple now as they come out of turn number 4.
Phil, how does he do that? He runs the best 2 or 3 laps after restart of anybody I ever seen.
He really does. If Travis Quapple can keep him behind him for a handful of laps, or he may be able to drive away. But Ron Hornaday, for whatever reason, seems to get the most out of his vehicle for 2 or 3 laps when his tires are cold.
Well, how does he do that?
I don't know.
I've been racing forever, and I've never seen anything quite like the way Ron Hornaday. You know, they talk a lot about him coming through the gears in his starts, but then the next 2 or 3 laps, you better be ready for a battle because he's going to be right there.
And now there's a great shot right there. The 07 of Tim Sauter and the 15 of Bill Lester. New sponsor on board Billy Ballew's truck, as you see the 4 of Mike Bliss on the inside. Allstate Insurance. Great to have them involved in such a big weekend here in Indianapolis, because I believe they have a little bit to do with maybe that race Sunday.
There's a race across town, and I just love Bill Lester. He's a cat that gets it. He's out there racing his butt off, but he understands how to take care of his sponsors, and I'm just so happy to see. Ooh, look at there, battle for 3rd.
Johnny Benson, all of a sudden.
I think those 2 trucks got together. I think Bodine and Crawford must have gotten together and slowed up their progress, and Johnny just shot around them.
Took advantage of an opportunity, moves all the way up into the 3rd position.
Johnny Benson now following Ron Hornaday around as Travis Quapple continues to lead.
Wonder what happened between these 2 cats. You can see a little bit of the rubber, the letters on the left rear tire rubbed off there, Phil, so I know contact was made. Don't know why. We heard Todd during the break. He was talking to his crew chief on his radio. We were kind of listening in. He says his truck isn't right. He's using the brake pedal to help it turn in the corners. What's he mean, Phil?
Well, he must have dialed a lot of rear brake in there to try to help that truck turn. As you see Rick Crawford trying to get to the inside. If you have too much front brake and you stay on the brake, that'll actually make the front end slide. So he may be dialing some rear brake in and using that brake to try to get that back end to turn around for him. See, we talk about whether they got together, and that's what allowed Johnny Benson to get by. You see right there, Rick's on the inside. They do make some contact. You see the 30 wiggle. Rick, momentum lost. Look where Johnny Benson comes out of nowhere.
Flew by him on the inside. We see Rick Crawford just in front of a pack of trucks here. Eric Darnell just behind him in that 99. A little loose there as Crawford came out of turn 4.
Yeah, big time wiggle for Rick off of turn number 4. You see the 99 and the 47 battling, and there's the 18 of Kenny Schrader. That is a battle for the 6th position. 3 wide for a moment.
Looks like Rick's truck hadn't come back to him since getting together with Todd. Look at Schrader on the outside of the 47. These two guys are going to try to make the bottom work. Schrader says, oh, I think maybe Crawford could hold him off, and I'm going to go to the outside. Race car drivers just want a place to go. You know, a single lane track is the most frustrating thing for a driver. If you've got options, you can go high or low. You're having fun in that vehicle.
We've seen people have a difficult time making passes on the inside, but nonetheless, if the inside's there, the opportunity arises, you go for it.
And you can't stand it. You just think, I know I can do it this time. You might have lost 10 spots trying, but you're going to keep trying until you make it work. What an impressive job by that 47 truck of Regan Smith. He started deep in the pack. We've talked about that. But look, not a mark on the right side of that truck. That means in all the passes he's made, he hadn't gone down in the corner, wiggled up into somebody, and knocked them out of the way. He's made every one of them in a clean fashion.
Regan had a top 10 finish at Homestead a couple years ago, last race of the season, then it really hasn't run any truck races since then.
And he doesn't know what his future holds right now today, I don't think.
And he knows he's racing here tonight, and beyond that, he probably doesn't have any idea what's going on.
Mike Skinner started this race up front. It started on owner points. Now he's back in the 22nd position, Ray.
Yeah, and the reason they're just so frustrated down here is because they've worked on this truck all day to try to loosen it up for Skinner. He's really tight in the center of the corner, and everything they threw at this thing today didn't help it at all. Now listen to this. On the first round of pit stops, they raised the track bar 3 rounds. Now that will always loosen up your truck, right? Well, Skinner said it even made it tighter. So when they came in this last time, they went back down on the track bar. Skinner says whatever is wrong with this thing, it's something we're not going to fix in the pits. Adam?
Well, if there's a guy who deserves the trophy if Travis Quapple goes to victory lane tonight, it may very well be his spotter, Toby Weldon. He's done an outstanding job of walking Quapple through these restarts when Hornaday was hounding his backside. And after things settled down on that last restart, Mike Dean, the crew chief, came over the radio and said to Travis Quapple, "You're awesome, man. You really know what you're doing." Since that time, Quapple has checked out and enjoys a large lead as we head toward 50 laps to go.
Hey guys, let's don't forget the fact that the 6 truck won that battle off pit road. Mike Beam's guys got that 6 of Travis Quapple off pit road first of the trucks that made a pit stop, and maybe the track position has a lot to do with where he's running right now.
It has a lot to do with it, but the fastest truck on the track recently has been that 23 of Johnny Benson. He's driven up under Hornaday 3 or 4 times, can't make the move yet, but is getting closer with every passing lap of getting that pass made.
Patience right now for Johnny Benson as we still have just inside 50 laps of racing to go. 49 to go now, and look at the points difference here. Skinner just 86 points in front of Ron Hornaday right now.
You know, Mike Skinner has not finished out of the top 10. As a matter of fact, he's had the best start of any driver in the history of the Truck Series through 13 races since 1995. And right now, he's not even running in the top 20, and looks like he's going to lose a serious amount of points to the 33 of Ron Hornaday.
Travis Quapple in that K&N Ford running away from the field. Ron Hornaday, Johnny Benson battling for second behind him. That will all shake out. We'll find out how they do after this. Let's take a look at tonight's Stay in the Game with Just for Men moment. Terry Cook comes in, and look at this front tire carrier.
But he gets up and indexes the tire. Never lost a second.
Back up, moves the tire back around, and it was a bit of a hard fall, though, as he limps his way off of pit road.
Stayed in the game, though, didn't he?
He did. So stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. Travis Quapple out in front of this field.
I love that stuff, that hair color stuff.
See Terry Cook right there in the Harris Trucking Toyota is in the middle of Travis Quapple and Ron Hornaday. Travis has about a second lead right now. Look at Johnny Benson. He's been trying to get by Ron Hornaday for the last 10 or 15 laps. Has not been able to do it. Has a faster truck than Ron Hornaday right now, but has not been able to make the pass.
And they're both running about as fast as Travis is leading the race, Phil. So I believe Johnny Benson makes this pass, he's going to drive straight up to the back of Quaffle. But we're proving right here, catching them is one thing, passing them is another.
Especially Ron Hornaday.
Yeah, exactly. And then when Travis Quaffle's leading this race, he's going to be as tough as Ron Hornaday is to pass.
We're inside of 40 laps to go right now as they continue to battle for the second position. Ron Hornaday on the outside, Johnny Benson on the inside.
He's got a better angle this time.
It's so difficult. He just needs to be able to use that whole racetrack to exit the corner, and he can't do that because Ron Hornaday's truck's there.
Oh, but he's so close. He's up beside him now. I think maybe this corner. What do you think, Phil? Is he going to?
I don't know. Ron Hornaday is pretty good through the center. He gets on the button a little bit. Not quite as quick as Johnny Benson, but Johnny's not able to get enough bite on the bottom without spinning the tires to be able to pull up beside him and be able to force the issue when he gets down to the next corner.
You just don't understand how patient Johnny has to be right now. It'd be so easy to overdrive that truck and get into Ron and cost them both a lot of time, maybe even 2 positions.
As you can see, look at the consistency for Ron Hornaday. He's finished on the lead lap the last 21 races, all this year and going back to last year.
Well, going back to last year, Skinner's finished in the top 10 every race except one in the last 22.
That's exactly right.
They've been door to door, the 23 and the 33, and now we're seeing door to door for the 14 and the 30.
That's a battle for the 4th position. Top 09, the 40 has it. The 14 of Rick Crawford wants it. Does he have enough? He does beat him off the corner.
Barely, and he waved at him and said, please don't hit me for that.
I know it was close. Thank you so much for letting me in.
Bumper about to fall off the 30.
Ooh, that could necessitate a consultation flag.
Yeah, NASCAR's going to take a good look at it. Here's the 14 of Rick Crawford. We're going to see maybe they made a little contact why that rear bumper is broken loose. There it is right there. Just a little bit of a nudge, but it was just enough to knock that rear bumper fascia loose. That's only a piece of plastic.
There was another nudge. A couple nudges got that loose.
Yeah, there's been some nudging going on with these guys. And these guys, again, right there's Travis Quaffle trying to lap by Cale Gale. I thought for a moment that was Ron Hornaday. I said, how did he get there?
Look, but there's Ron Hornaday right there.
2 Camping World Chevrolets running nose to tail now.
These 2 guys have been able to battle fiercely and catch Travis, so you know Johnny's got a faster truck than Travis.
But maybe Ron Hornaday does right now too, because he's been able to move right up to the back of Travis Quaffle in the 6th truck.
So laps wind down, so does the distance between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Travis Quaffle, Ron Hornaday, and Johnny Benson, 1, 2, and 3 as they go to turn 1.
Ron Hornaday got in the corner extremely hard, tried to move to the bottom. Now he's going to switch over to the outside. Travis is not going to give him any room up there.
Adam Alexander, what's going on pit road?
Well, let's talk a little bit about Travis Quaffle's teammate, the 99 of Eric Darnell. He had back-to-back top 10s for the first time this year prior to our last race 2 weeks ago at Kentucky. Looked like the momentum was going to be on his side, but a cut tire took him out of the race there. But he's back in the hunt here again tonight, looking very solid on the racetrack, running in the 6th position. Then there's Brendan Gaughan riding 10th. As we have a battle for the lead, Ron Hornaday to the inside of Travis Quaffle.
How about that slide job here? We've seen a lot of slide jobs. Travis is going to pull back to the inside. Look at Ron Hornaday. He's trying to use up a little bit extra racetrack. Not allow Travis to drive down on the inside of him.
Well, we talked about Johnny having a better truck than Travis. It looks like Ron does too.
It looked like Travis Quaffle almost really succumbed to Ron Hornaday. He allowed him to drive that truck so hard down in the corner, gave a little bit extra room. Ron was able to clear him and move up back to the outside through the center of the corner.
With 30 laps of racing to go, actually 29 now, Ron Hornaday out in front. He is looking to gain 6 more laps of leading so that he will have led the most laps. That's another 5 bonus points as we're looking at a championship in 2007.
Well, you have to just really appreciate the job Hornaday's done. We've talked about Skinner all year long. Hornaday's been right there nipping at his tail, and he's going to make a dent in that lead tonight.
He's only had 1 finish out of the top 10 this year, and that was an 11th. He's had an incredible season, but you look at the season, Mike Skinner's had his best start in the history of the series.
Now Johnny Benson looks to try to get around the 6 of Travis Quaffle. Benson with such a strong truck, we thought, as he was trying to work around Ron Hornaday, and then Hornaday just blew by Travis Kvapil.
Well, he does have a strong truck. Wasn't able to get it done with Ron Hornaday. Had he got by Ron Hornaday, that could theoretically have been the pass for the win. But now Johnny looks like he's going to be able to use that 13 truck, baby, and get by the 6 of Travis Kvapil.
Willie Allen had been out in front of this field. Right now, he's in front of Travis Kvapil as Johnny Benson tries to get by him. They're 3 wide.
That isn't going to work.
No. Johnny wasn't going to give Travis enough room to get in between him and the 13 of Willie Allen. So Johnny B takes over the 2nd spot.
Johnny Benson up into the 2nd spot. Ray, how is that 4 running?
Well, pretty good. I was going to give you a little trivia question there to find out if the guys up there knew which driver had the most laps on this particular racetrack, but you probably figured it out now because we're talking about the 4, and that is Mike Bliss. Mike Bliss has run over 40 races right here at ORP. He's got a lot of experience. His only problem tonight is that his truck is just a little bit too loose. He has probably passed the most trucks tonight here on this racetrack, and Bliss has currently gotten that open joist Dodge up to 12th place.
So a new leader in front of the field. It's Ron Hornaday. He's adding to his laps led. Johnny Benson, Travis Kvapil, Rick Crawford, and Todd Bodine, your top 5. Help you. The gutsiest show on television is back. Pink's All Out. On Thursday, it's not for the pink slip. They're chasing the green. $10,000 in cold, hard cash. Run fast, run hard with an all-new Pinks. All Out. Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed. Hornaday in front of the field. When we come back, we'll see the checkered flag. Will it be Hornaday or a hard-charging Johnny Benson closing in on the 33? Can he catch it? We're going to find out. Welcome back. Peter Shepard just spins in turns 3 and 4. And as he does that, the caution flag will fly for the 8th time tonight at O'Reilly Raceway Park.
Tough break for Peter Shepard. He was running in the top 20. Pretty good night going. Let's see if we can take a look back at what caused this incident. See right there, there's a little contact right there with the 16 of Kenny Hedrick. And into the outside wall. Did not make extremely hard contact with the outside wall.
Boy, he made extremely hard contact with it at Kentucky. He broke it.
Boy, he sure did.
In an ARCA car.
And so this will close the field up. As we're inside of 15 laps remaining, everyone will be on their feet for the finish at ORP. We talk about anniversaries, birthdays. Well, 10 years ago, Ron Hornaday found victory lane at what was then IRP, now ORP.
Driving a Napa truck.
Yeah, just starting to add the numbers to his short track wins
for
his
DEI,
career.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, this is Ron Hornaday's truck number 15. Now, this truck has never won a race. It finished 6th at Mansfield and 3rd at Memphis. But if Hornaday is able to hold on and get the win tonight, it'll be 3 victories this season, all 3 of those coming in different trucks. Now, right behind him is Johnny Benson in that number 23. And today, they brought a brand new chassis that has never been raced before. I asked JB earlier today, why would you bring a brand new truck to ORP? He said, you got to bring your best bullet you've got in the gun, and he said he wasn't very happy with the old short track truck they had. He thinks this one's a lot better. Adam?
We may have found out why Travis Kvapil is no longer leading. When the caution flag came out, he came over the radio and said, sorry guys, it just got too free and there was nothing I could do with the 33 or the 23. And then there's the 30 of Todd Bodine who slid back. His truck is tight, no front tires, he says.
Coming up on 11 laps of racing to go, and those of you on the East Coast and Eastern Standard Time, it's officially Saturday. So thanks for sticking with us here at ORP as we are about to see the restart. The green flag is back out. It's Ron Hornaday in front of Johnny Benson, Travis Kvapil, Rick Crawford, and Todd Bodine.
And look at that lead that Ron Hornaday gets on this restart. Johnny got a bad break. He got caught beside the lap truck of Stacy Compton. Ron Hornaday opens up a 6 or 8 truck length lead in one corner.
He will wear you out for 2 or 3 laps. But Johnny, I just feel like Johnny's going to catch him. This is classic Friday night, late night, short track racing right here on Speed. I love it.
Johnny Benson trying the lower line through 1 and 2. Trying to close that gap as now we have 10 laps of racing to go. Inside of 10 to go, and it would be a single file restart if we do have a caution come out.
There's Kenny Schrader right there. He's being shown in the 7th position, trying to catch that 99 of Eric Darnell. There's David Starr right there, the Max Force Ford. He's in 15th.
What a strong restart, though, for Ron Hornadays. He still has 7 and 8 truck lengths between himself and Johnny Benson.
Remember, he's in that 2 or 3 lap window when he's so good on cold tires after a caution.
But here comes Johnny. He ran a little bit faster lap time last time by than Ron did.
See what he does this time. Actually, Ron that time was about the same as Johnny, within 3/1000ths of a second.
Top 5 have separated themselves from each other.
Now, obviously, the worst thing in the world for Johnny right now would be a caution. You know, he's going to need all 7 of these laps left to get to Ron. And
look at this now. How are we not going to have a caution with all this going on?
3 and 4 wide as they come out of turn number 4. There just isn't enough room on the racetrack.
That looked like a parking lot.
Look at him. At least 3 wide here at ORP. Look at Bill Lester, the All-State Chevrolet on the inside here. Willie Allen's in the wall.
Bad crash.
13 of Willie Allen into the wall.
No caution yet.
Flag has not come out as Willie Allen still bouncing off the wall through turn number 4. And behind, right in front of him, there's smoke coming out of the 21. John Wood has problems with the 21 as well.
Yeah, that's caution flag is out now. John Wood, I think, just has a tire rub possibly on the left front. You can see all the damage on the left front of the 21 Bush's Beans Ford. You see right there, that's what the smoke was from for John Wood.
The Bush Beans machine.
The smoke.
Smoked baked beans.
Willie Allen got the worst end of this deal. Let's see if we can figure out what happened.
See all that wad right behind them. We're going to see Willie Allen.
Oh.
He got a little help, it looked like.
He moved up, and someone was there.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Be
probably John Wood. Maybe here we're going to see coming off turn number 2. He's going to move up right there. Going to get hooked in the right rear corner. Probably was the 21 of John Wood. Looked like Willie came up and wasn't quite clear of John.
I'm surprised that doesn't happen every lap. These guys are all over one another. You know what we need Johnny Benson to do, Phil, is get the restart of his career. Right here, hang with Ron from the start. He's not going to have any lap traffic to the inside. Single file restart. In fact, it might even wind up being a green-white checkered. And I know that if it is, Ray will tell us all kinds of things about
He's got a few statistics based upon green-white checkered finishes.
There's a little debris on the racetrack that NASCAR officials will have to send out the safety truck to pick that up.
I almost think that Ray's hoping it's a green-white checkered finish so he could tell us about those stats. Ray, what are you doing now?
Mikey,
you warming up?
Yeah, I just happen to know that this will be the 68th green-white checkered that we've had in the Craftsman Truck Series. Now, it's only happened 2 times ever here at IRP, but one of the guys that won a race in a green-white checkered was Ron Hornaday. Rick ran your crew chiefing, watching the big picture. When I asked you earlier today if you had a truck good enough to win, you said maybe. How you feeling now?
Well, if we wouldn't have had that caution a few laps ago, I'd say we'd have one in the bank, but it's not over yet. But I will say this, if you're going to have anybody driving your Camping World Chevrolet on the last restart like this, I believe we got the guy to do the job.
I think you're right.
I feel good about it. The 23 truck's been really fast the last 30 laps of this race, but, I mean, he's got to get around us. So I feel good about it.
Okay, good luck to you. Let's go to Adam.
40 laps ago, you would have said the guy to beat was Travis Quapple. His crew chief is Mike Beam. Mike, he said it's a little free. Can he get it cooled down enough to make a run at him?
Yeah, I just got free there. You know, it was pretty good shape there. And, you know, just, I don't know. You know, Travis done a great job. Pit crew done a good job. You know, I just kind of missed it tonight. You know, it's a shame because he drove his heart out here. Hopefully we can have a good night here in the point deal and just, you know, we'll see what Hornaday and Benson does here because it'll all be worth the admission right here.
Quapple was hoping for his 3rd win of 2007 here tonight.
Well, this will be the 4th green-white checkered finish that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will have this season in 2007. The first 3 Martinsville at Lowe's and Texas, and just so happens that Hornaday was involved in the one at Lowe's earlier.
You're infringing on Ray's territory there, talking about green, white, checker finishes.
I'm just, I'm trying to accent what he has already brought up. But yeah, Ron Hornaday won that race at Lowe's, and that was a green, white, checkered finish.
I just will tell you, you are treading on thin ice, though. That's Ray's genre, if you will.
You know, Ron Hornaday, we showed video of Ron Hornaday winning here in 1997. Well, that race, Jimmy Hensley led 200 laps. They had a green, white checker. He actually had a flat tire. Ron Hornaday was able to pass him on the outside while Jimmy Hensley had a flat tire. Ron Hornaday led the final 2 laps. Jimmy Hensley had 200 laps of a 200-lap race and did not win the race.
That's a record. That's never happened before. I've seen people lead 200 laps and not win, but it wasn't a 200-lap race.
It might have been a 300-lap race or 400, maybe even 500.
Who knows?
Again, we will see the green flag, then the white flag, and the checkered. Out in front of the field, it's Ron Hornaday looking to add to his career record. He has 30 wins, looking for 31.
Can Johnny hang with him on the start? That's the question. And he does. Gets down into turn 1 with Hornaday.
Johnny's right there with him. Look at Travis Quapple kind of peek to the inside of Johnny.
This time through 3 and 4. Can he keep the gap close? Johnny Benson trying to hold on to the back bumper of Ron Hornaday. The white flag in the air. 1 lap to go at ORP.
Well, Ron's got a couple truck links right now. If he can get through this corner clean, then he's only got 1 more end of the racetrack. Look at Johnny close up.
Johnny trying to keep close, but it's 2 truck links between he and Ron Hornaday as they go into 3 and 4. Ron Hornaday will try to hold him off. He's closed the gap. As they come out of turn number 4, Hornaday in front of Benson. Hornaday wins at ORP.
Great job by Ron Hornaday. Good run for Johnny Benson, Travis Quapple, Rick Crawford. Ken Schrader gets the 5th position there. A top 5 for Kenny Schrader here at ORP.
Wow, great run for Schrader. Got around top of the last lap, Phil.
Sure did. Eric Darnell finishes 7th. Regan Smith, what a great run to finish 8th after starting so far back in the 29th position.
Jack Sprague, I'm sure, will be depressed to find out Ron Hornaday just put another win in between he and Sprague. Obviously, Sprague 2nd currently in the career wins column. Now, Hornaday with 32 wins in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He leads a lot of the records in this series.
Well, and Skinner lost 2 spots on the last lap. He was 83 points ahead when we went to that restart, wound up 77 ahead. So I know Skinner's not going to be happy to hear about that, but Ron will have as big a smile on his face about closing that point lead down as he will about winning this race.
And he adds to his record of all-time short track wins in addition to overall wins. That is his 17th short track win of his career.
Johnny Benson coming home 2nd in this race. That ties his best short track finish in his 27 short track races. And the last time he finished 2nd, I believe, was at this racetrack. Close, and yet so far for Johnny Benson, trying to grab his first short track win, but he had to follow the 33 of Ron Hornaday on a green-white checkered finish, and it was Hornaday that was able to find victory lane once again in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We'll be back to see him in victory lane after this. It's been a long time, but the race has concluded. We go into the post-race show for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and our first stop, victory lane.
And Ron Hornaday is about to climb out of this Camping World Chevy. Today, it's win number 32 of his career. He is the all-time winningest driver in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. A dominating performance tonight at ORP. Rick Wren getting a high five here, and all the guys on the crew led the most laps. It'll be a great night in the points. Gets a kiss from wife Lindy. And Ron, I got to be curious, right at the very beginning of the race, on lap number 1, you and Skinner go slamming down in there. It was exciting from lap 1 to lap 203.
Well, we never touched the first lap. The second lap we did, I lost the back end down there. Skinner drove me a little straighter, but I got to apologize to Willie Allen. I didn't know he was shooting low. You know, he ran it high, went down the back straightaway. And he came down, and I was already committed to go to the bottom, and I was loose already, and I touched him, and I got sideways. I about wrecked myself with him, but I hate to see that. But I got to thank Camping World and everybody, Kevin and Delana Harvick. It's awesome. I mean, Snap-on. We got a new sponsor, but I'm not going to say it today because it's kind of, it goes a little, but a little support from them right here at ORP. But awesome race. These guys run you hard here. You know, from the first lap on, it was like qualifying. And I don't know what it is. I was getting tight in the middle, and these guys just made this Chevrolet turn, and it's pretty good.
Skinner did not have a good truck tonight, and he finished way in the back. It was a great night in the points, but did you know early on that your truck was good enough to win?
In practice, we did. We had to make one more change, and we did. We needed, you know, a couple more laps. We'd like to see it qualified, but overall, it worked out good. When Skinner wanted to go to the outside, it's like, man, that's going to be tough. Try to pass him, and I got coming off the corner. It's like, this thing's really going good, and I just started the start too fast, and I just waited for him until he went by me. So it would have been a contest if I would have got through the corner first. But awesome. I got to thank everybody. I mean, Camping World, Chevrolet Silverado. You start naming it, we got them all. But
you did a good job. That's win number 3 of 2007 for Ron Hornaday. Now let's check back in with Adam Alexander.
And the second top 5 of the year for this guy, Ken Schrader. You were solid all night long. Talk about the top 5 finish, Kenny.
Well, we knew when we left here today that thing was going to be good because it would hook around the bottom. And at IRP, it doesn't make any difference how fast you go around top. You got to be able to hook around the bottom to pass. And it did it all night long. We got a couple on that last green-white checker, so that put us 5th. And we're pretty happy to have a little Fastenal Dodge in the top 5 again. We just got to work on our bigger track program a little bit more. But everybody over at BHR is working hard and working good together with the Open Joist team. And looking forward to next year.
Is this as confident as this group of guys has been all night with Bliss finishing 11th here this evening?
Well, we had at Mansfield, we had both of them in top 10, and we were 3rd and 10th. It's probably as confident as the team has been without Bobby. But, you know, Bobby was the team.
Good luck the rest of the weekend, Kenny.
Thank you.
Ken Schrader, 5th here tonight.
Take a look at our top 10. Again, it was Hornaday out in front of the field. Johnny Benson right behind him.
A great top 5 run for Rick Crawford and Kenny Schrader. We just talked to him.
Regan Smith, Jack Sprague, Brendan Gaughan round out our top 10.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is presented by Ford F-Series. Built for bold moves, built for tough. Brought to you in part by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Fastenal. We get it right.
Victory Lane celebration continuing. The hat dance for the 33 team. As Ron Hornaday has found Victory Lane for the 32nd time in his career in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The guy that was oh so close tonight is standing by with Ray Dunlap. That's Johnny Benson.
And he started 6th today. We had a real good run. Brand new truck you guys brought here. Summarize your evening.
Pretty tough. I mean, our truck was good. I mean, we started off good, got a little bit better, you know, just kept moving on. Trip Bruce and the guys did a, you know, good job, good adjustments, things like that, but our pit stop just about killed us. So we had to come back, lost about, 8 spots or so. And I just burned my tires up trying to get back up to the front. But Ron ran a great race. You know, Tripp and those guys built a great truck. So everybody's wondering why we brought a brand new truck here, but the old truck just didn't run good. So this one ran pretty good. I was pretty happy with that, and really got to thank Toyota Certified Used Vehicles, all the guys at the engine shop. The engine ran great, and just everything was good.
When you take a look at the season so far and looking at the remaining races in this rest of this year, what's your next best opportunity to win a race?
Well, hopefully the rest of them, but, you know, it's just so hard to tell. You know, the guys do a great job. We just want to be up front running good every week. So we need a couple things that we need to work on, but hopefully nothing too big.
We had a good night tonight. Johnny Benson finishes 2nd tonight to Ron Hornaday. Adam?
The man right behind him in the running order, Travis Quaplin, with 40 to go. I thought you had him, but it just didn't stay with you there, did it?
No, not really. You know, not a bad night for our K&N Ford. Just discouraged a little bit because, you know, we had a great practice and a good adjustments throughout the practice. Got the truck really dialed in and thought we had a truck to win the race. Just great job on pit road from 5th to 1st, basically, and got us out front, got us into clean air, some bonus points. But in the long run, you know, just a little bit too loose. We burned the rear tires off it. Short run, it would go pretty good, roll the corner really nice. But I was hoping, you know, when they started to catch me, I was actually hoping for a caution, let my tires cool back down a little bit so we could make another run at it. But not a bad night. K&N Ford did a good job. Pit crew did an awesome job. So ready to go to the next one.
When you were leading a couple of those restarts, Hornaday was right behind you. Take us through those opening laps on those restarts when he was hounding you pretty good.
That's pretty exciting stuff. I'd see him bonsai down to the bottom in my left side mirror, and I just focused on getting good, clean drive off the corner. I didn't want to look in my rearview mirror off the corner. I didn't want to be intimidated. I didn't really know where he was going. I just wanted to hit my marks, and Toby, my spotter, did a great job. You know, he encouraged me and he walked me through it and told me where he was, so I didn't have to look in my mirror. So Ron Hornaday is one of the best on restarts, so I definitely had to be on my game.
Solid run tonight for Travis Quapple. He finishes third at ORP.
Take a look at our unofficial results. Adam had just mentioned Travis's spotter. Well, Ron Hornaday's spotter is Rick Corelli. He has 4 career wins in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, so a lot of experience on this team, not only with the driver of Ron Hornaday, but also crew chief as well.
Good top 10 run for Brennan Gaughan there. Rounds out the top 10 here at ORP.
See Bliss, solid run for the second Bobby Hamilton racing truck. Crafton, we thought, could win this race, wound up soldiering home 14th. David Green, a lot of people thought he had a good truck.
Yeah, Dennis Setzer finishes 13th with a backup truck. No practice at all on the truck. And look at Kenny Hendrick, an infrequent start here, finishes 19th. And Dave Fuge's truck got some sponsorship aboard that truck right now, and hopefully he can continue on.
Well, those 2 trucks, Sauter and Hendrick, passed Skinner on the last lap. He hated to see those 6 points go away.
Yeah, Kenny Hendrick, that's actually ties his career best. It was back at Texas in '97 the last time he ran 19th, so ties that. We see a couple trucks here, a lap down.
And you see a couple of trucks here that were torn all to pieces. John Wood, Willie Allen, and Blake, they all had some trouble. Scott Lynch got in the wall, Jason White. Pretty much from there down, wasn't good.
Yeah, Brett Thompson had a long night here at ORP. Celebration continues in Victory Lane. They're on the stage enjoying the spoils of victory. Again, that's Ron Hornaday winning at ORP.
In 2 weeks, the Truck Series takes on the concrete turns in the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. Last year, it was Todd Bodine and Mike Skinner battling on the last lap, but it was Johnny Benson's Toyota that ended up in Victory Lane. With astounding finishes, this is one race you won't want to miss. Catch all the Truck Series action, starting with the setup at 6 p.m., followed by the green flag, only on Speed.
And who will play the guitar this year from Nashville, the Toyota 200. Again, August 11th, that's Saturday. Kicks off with the setup show at 6 p.m. Eastern with Chris Devoto. Take a look at our Ford point standings through race number 14. Again, these are unofficial point standings, but Mike Skinner has lost quite a bit of the lead he had coming into this race. Ron Hornaday, just 77 points out of first. Todd Bodine third. Travis Quapple back to fourth. Johnny Benson fifth, and Crawford drops to sixth.
You know, we've been talking about Mike Skinner and almost an insurmountable lead. Such a terrific start. He has a bit of a hiccup here, and look at Ron Hornaday closes to 77 points behind. Travis Quapple picks up a spot. Johnny Benson picks up a spot, moves into the top 5, passes Rick Crawford. He's ahead of him by 5 points now.
Ray Dunlap.
And Crawford had a really good race tonight and still lost a little bit in the points, but it looked to me like it was a lot of fun racing out there. We saw 2 and 3 wide most of the evening.
Typical ORP short track style racing. I'm proud of all the guys on the Circle Bar race team for Ford Power Stroke Diesel International. We made some bold moves on the racetrack tonight with our F-Series pickup. Quite a night. They made some changes before the green flag, and I mean major changes, and it just built a lot of confidence between me and Cowboy and our car chief, Steve McCain, and it built a lot of confidence for me. No adjustments during the pit stop, just a good night. And I'd like to tell everybody that the Benny Parsons Museum and Wine Tasting Room is open in North Wilkesboro. So if you got 421 off of 77, like you're going to Boone, North Carolina, stop by Benny's Museum. It's something quite spectacular to see and taste some of his new wine out, over 5 flavors to choose from.
Well, we appreciate the plug for old BP there. Rick Crawford started 4th tonight, or started 5th and ended up 4th. Adam?
Third, top 10 in the last 4 races for this guy, Eric Darnell. You guys were solid pretty much all night long, Eric.
Yeah, we were. Our Northern Tool and Equipment Ford was pretty good from the get-go, and I wish we would have had a chance to qualify because I think we could have started up front a little farther than where we were at. Track position here is pretty crucial, but the guys did a great job on pit road, picked me up a spot during our pit stop, and we had a good truck and we were able to ride around up there and finish in the top 10.
Second half to the season off to a good start for Eric Darnell.
Any surprises tonight, guys? I mean, we thought early on Skinner, Hornaday, anybody starting in the top 5 had a shot at this one, and sure enough, Hornaday ends up winning the thing.
Well, it just goes to show you how important track position is here. We saw the 47 truck of Regan Smith make some strategy moves early in the race, got him up into the top 10 from the back. We saw Dennis Setzer crash, didn't get any practice in a backup truck, used strategy, worked his way up with a solid top 15 finish. So track position was the key tonight.
We saw Kenny Schrader parlay a 17th place start because of owner points into a top 5 finish. So Kenny really did a nice job, as well as Regan Smith, to get a top 10 finish from starting 29th.
I think one thing I was a little bit surprised about tonight, Rick, was how wide this groove was. We saw guys way down next to the grass making passes, and we also saw cats sliding around the top and making passes. There were a lot of options for these guys tonight.
Guessing a few of the Busch drivers stayed up late tonight to watch and just see how this whole race transpired for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The trophy going to Ron Hornaday. That's the 32nd time he has been in victory lane. The day started off, practice early on, and then the rains came. We didn't have qualifying. The race started late. Hornaday started second, which means we continued the tradition of front row winners. 8 out of 13 at O'Reilly Raceway Park have started on the front row and gone on to victory lane. And no different tonight for Ron Hornaday in the Camping World Chevrolet. Victory number 3 in 2007.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.